Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. It's 5:10. I'm Manda Factor. After a 24-hour debate, the state house has passed the income tax on millionaires. The vote was 64 to 51. It would tax households earning more than $1 million at 9.9%. Democrats say it boosts education and public safety funding.
So you see things in the bill that speaks to both of those around affordability and making life less expensive for our small businesses as well as our working families.
That was Democratic Representative April Berg. Republican Representative Jim Walsh warns of a slippery slope.
They call it the millionaire's tax. It's absolutely not a millionaire's tax. So if you're a married couple and you're both doing pretty well, but neither of you is making $1 million, you may bump up against that threshold anyway.
Governor Bob Ferguson was in the chamber celebrating with Democrats after the vote. He's promised to sign it. The bill now goes back to the Senate for agreement on the changes. If it passes, court challenges and a ballot fight are expected. A Republican state senator has been removed from an oversight board after using a slur on the Senate floor. Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck replaced Senator Leonard Christian with Senator Nikki Torres on the state's Child Welfare Oversight Board yesterday. Christian drew sharp criticism after using a slur for people with intellectual disabilities during a floor debate last week. Senate Republican leader John Braun asked for the change, and Christian has defended his language. He has not apologized. Here we go. Meteorologists are warning of heavy mountain snow and hazardous travel conditions across the state. The National Weather Service forecasts 2 to 4 feet of snow in the Cascades, with winds and blowing snow creating near whiteout conditions. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha.
Here's the bottom line when it comes to the past conditions right now. Where I've looked them up on WashDOT, says traction tires right now are advised. That means that they're recommended but not necessarily required to proceed.
Blizzard conditions possible at the passes, and travel could be difficult or even impossible. We're in for some wind here in the Puget Sound area, too. We'll talk more about that a bit later. The FBI is teaming up with Federal Way Police to find a murder suspect. Mike Harrington is the FBI special agent in charge of the Seattle field office.
Today we're announcing the addition of Samuel Ramirez Jr. to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive list. Ramirez, wanted for those 2023 murders of 2 women here in Federal Way, is now the 538th addition to that list.
He's accused of shooting and killing 2 women at Stars Bar and Grill in May of 2023. You can see his picture at mynorthwest.com. Well, there's no beef. That's the word from Seattle Mariners star Cal Raleigh. During Monday night's USA-Mexico World Baseball Classic game, his M's teammate Randy Arozarena offered Raleigh a handshake at the plate. Well, Raleigh didn't take it. Arozarena later made some pointed, expletive-filled comments in Spanish. Cal spoke with our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
I hate that this is a thing. I really don't think this is a big deal, a big story. It shouldn't be a thing. I love Randy.
Here's M's manager, Dan Wilson.
I know how much these guys love each other, and well, not concerned.
By the way, the USA won the game 5-3. It's 5:13. Let's get you on the road on this Wednesday morning. Time to check traffic. And for that, we say good morning to Chris Sullivan.
Morning, Amanda. By the way, the U.S. lost last night to Italy.
Oh, my goodness.
They might not make the next round.
Wow.
Which
this has
would be
been really
shocking.
fun.
Which would be shocking.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I was watching it last night like it was a playoff game. I don't know what was happening.
It's because baseball's
back.
back.
I know it's baseball. It's exciting. We got a big problem on 518 just east of 99 in the Tukwila South Center area. We have basically all of eastbound 518 blocked there and 2 lanes of westbound 518. So if you're heading to the airport, you're going to run into some delays, or leaving the airport, you're going to run into some delays there as well. We'll be watching this closely to see if they can clear this off, but definitely some problems to start this morning. Also, I woke up to some really bad news about the First Avenue South Bridge. Yeah, it's going to be closed through Friday. Now, apparently the damage to the bridge deck a lot more severe than they expected, so we're going to, the next 3 mornings are going to be very difficult. The work was supposed to wrap up today. Not going to happen. Rest of the map looks okay. Only need about 35 minutes to go from Federal Way to Seattle, or Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue's under 15, and we're looking at about 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. So most places are okay, but just that issue there on 518. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, rainy and windy for most of us. Up in the mountains, though, that blizzard warning kicks in at about 5 o'clock tonight, I believe it is. And it's going to snow heavily. 2 to 4 feet of snow expected. Windy for us. There is a wind advisory in effect for the Puget Sound area. Gusts up to 40 miles an hour this afternoon. For tomorrow, we'll calm down a little bit, cloudy and 46, and then Friday, some rain at times. So far, the weekend doesn't look too bad. We might even see some sunbreaks. Right now in Seattle, we have some light rain falling. It's 41 degrees. Coming up, G. Scott catches us up on the Seahawks free agency moves. That's ahead here on Seattle's Morning News.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
Two competing budget proposals. Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Rick was experiencing some pain in his knee.
Once I retired and really just golfed constantly, I think it kind of exacerbated.
It was getting to be too much for him.
It got to the point where I just almost couldn't sleep. I wanted to try anything to avoid surgery.
So instead, he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
Yeah, I talked to him and he said, well, Rick, it's a new knee or we do the stem cell.
Since the procedure, Rick is back doing what he loves to do.
Here I am, golfing and enjoying it.
And now it's not just his knee. Rick has had stem cell treatment for both of his shoulders, his hip, and...
He did my thumbs.
So whether it's a hip like I had or a shoulder, knee, and thumb like Rick, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. He's the most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Have something to say? We'd love to hear it. Text KIRO News Radio at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Yikey Wawa.
What?
My hot water.
Yeah?
Not so hot.
Water heater trouble?
It's not working.
We can fix that.
This week?
How about today?
Apollo Plumbing really is ready right now.
Especially when it comes to water heater replacement.
Think I need a new one?
Is it more than 10 years old?
It is.
Probably so.
Doesn't heat like it used to.
It runs out?
All the time.
That's a warning sign.
Uh-oh.
So are little leaks.
But Apollo can get me a new one?
Installed today by our clean screen trained and trusted plumbers. They're water heater experts.
But I probably got to pay a rush fee.
No extra charge.
You make this too easy.
We'll even haul off the old one.
A new water heater.
Same day. That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
This is going to get my budget in hot water.
Got you covered there, too.
How?
Our available payment plans.
I don't have to wait?
Or take cold showers.
You are a lifesaver.
Call us this morning. You'll have hot water today.
That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
So they adjusted the lighting in the studio, and I've been waiting all morning for G. Scott to be here.
We're struggling a little bit, just so you know.
We're struggling a little bit.
Let me see.
Oh.
Okay.
There you are.
Look, I mean,
I like your coats.
I can actually see my top of my cheek.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
We're getting it dialed in. Dialed in, right? You are here because there have been plenty of developments since we last spoke about free agency yesterday. We've lost K9. Yeah. We were able to keep Rashid Shaheed. Just what are some of your initial thoughts?
That the Seahawks are Super Bowl champions, and they're Super Bowl champions for a reason. They are very dialed in. Let me bore you guys for a sec. Yesterday, I learned a lot yesterday. I spent a lot of yesterday on the phones. I have two good friends of mine that are NFL agents, and I spent a good time with them on the phone yesterday during free agency. And it's the equivalent of going to a restaurant all the time, and then now you have an opportunity to go in the back, and you see how things are cooked, and you see what happens. First, I just want to just say, a lot of this game, a lot of it is so rigged with relationships. So all of the Adam Schefters and Ian Rappaports and all of these insiders that know everything, you know, they're so connected to these teams and deals and put this out and say this so I can help with this deal and that, those kind of things. It's a little on the sketch side. So I want to start with that. But then I'll get to what the Seahawks are doing. And one of the things that both of them say is how dialed in the Seahawks are doing. A lot of these teams are just trying to do the best they can. They're trying to figure things out. Like, shout out to the Raiders. Raiders picked up our offensive coordinator, Seahawks offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, right? But it's the Raiders, right? And the Raiders have been making awful decisions for years. Not saying that this is an awful situation. I'm just trying to show you that a lot of these teams are just trying to do things. The Niners, they made an awful decision yesterday by giving six-time Pro Bowler Mike Evans a 3-year, $60 million deal as a wide receiver who the best thing he can do is go down the field, and then Purdy can't even throw it that far. So what does this mean for the Seahawks? Well, first, they added no free agents from any other team yesterday, right? They're not desperate. Yes, you guys saw about K9, Kenneth Walker III, he's going to the Chiefs. Did you know that Kenneth Walker III, Kyrus Tonga, and Lahi Gilman, who are also signed with the Chiefs, all are with the same agency or a sports group? Same agent. So you get a package deal, right? Well, how does that work for the Seahawks? Well, yesterday you saw Josh Jobe signed to a 3-year deal. Guess who also has the same agent as Josh Jobe?
I'm thinking Shaheed.
No, that would be Witherspoon. So it's like, hey, you get Josh Jobe on a deal because we know we're going to have to pay Witherspoon. You know what I mean? So then you see Rashid Shaheed happen yesterday, right? And right when the news came out, you started to see some of these wide receivers get the money. And you guys remember the other day, I gave you guys the example on how if you're on a break in a relationship, you kind of go out there and see what's better, and then you see what's happening, and then you come back. Well, that's what happened with Rashid Shaheed. He went out there and said, hey, what's going on? Everything cool? Okay, all right, let me... Hey, Seattle, we good.
Gee, I'm hoping you can help my friend Josh. We're all on a Seahawks signal chat.
Okay.
And he said, listen, a lot of these trades, it comes with the territory, but he's worried about Boye Mafe.
Boye Mafe, he went to the Bengals. Boye Mafe is a good player. Loved what he did for Seattle.
Is he replaceable?
Love him, yes. I'm going to look you guys right and give you straight up facts.
Listen to this, Josh.
Every player that the Seahawks allowed to go into free agency, John Schneider knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows. We're going to build this team. We did this with the Legion of Boom. We're going to make sure we keep everything intact.
In case you missed it, Seahawks cornerback Rick Woolen is signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. 1-year deal reportedly worth up to $15 million. It's 5:24. Check on a forecast. It's going to be a very interesting day. We are looking for a blizzard warning to kick in this evening in the mountains. 2 to 4 feet of snow. Rainy and windy. 51 for the rest of us today. By windy, I mean we could see gusts in the Seattle area up to 40 miles an hour this afternoon into the evening hours. Tomorrow, cloudy, 46, and then Friday, just rain and 43. So far, the weekend looks not too bad. We'll see some sun breaks at times, but some showers too. It's 41 in Seattle right now. Top stories of the morning coming up here on Seattle's Morning News.
Think about this. In 2006, $20,000 equaled roughly 33 ounces of gold at the spot price. At today's prices, those 33 ounces would be worth over $150,000. Smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals. That's why I buy gold from Birch Gold Group. It's a crucial part of my balanced strategy. Gives me peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you, too. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, let Birch Gold help you diversify with gold. Now that's peace of mind. Text Dan to 989898. Again, text my name, Dan, to the number 989898 today. Message and data rates apply.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-266-3845. Again, that's 800-266-3845. 800-266-3845.
I'm sure by now you've heard interviews with a whole lot of people who took the First Mark Challenge and saved so much money on their insurance and got better coverage. We call them First Mark victories. Well, I too took the First Mark Challenge and am thrilled to say that First Mark is saving my family thousands. Now that's what I call a victory. Before we got married, my husband had been with the same agent for so long, I think we just assumed that they were working hard to get us the best coverage and save us money, but it wasn't the case. And we only knew that by taking the First Mark Challenge. First Mark works for you, not the insurance carriers. First Mark will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at risk for financial loss. Then they carefully search the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. And that's it. First Mark Insurance has helped thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance and save them thousands, my family included. Be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Take the First Mark Challenge now. It's free. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Staples has hot deals on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends 4/18, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, it's 5:30. The U.S. has launched an intense barrage at Iranian Navy ships in and around the Strait of Hormuz, both sides fighting to control the key waterway for global oil supplies. CBS News chief correspondent Matt Gutman has more from Tel Aviv.
The U.S. and Israel say they have hobbled Iran's military with over 5,000 strikes. In Tehran, video shows cratered streets. Body bags are laid out on the ground. What the regime says was a residential high-rise hollowed out by a missile. Red Crescent rescuers claw through the skeleton of the building, rubble all around.
While you were sleeping, Washington's gas prices jumped up again. Here's KIRO 7's Dee Sun.
$4.72 a gallon is now the average price across Washington state, according to AAA. That is 32 cents higher than last week and 66 cents higher than a month ago.
The national average is now $3.58. Washington could have a state income tax by the end of the week. The State House passed the income tax on millionaires yesterday after a marathon 24-hour debate. KIRO 7 reports the final vote was 51-46. 8 Democrats joined all Republicans in opposing the bill. Governor Bob Ferguson was in the chamber celebrating with Democrats after the vote. He has promised to sign it. The bill now goes back to the Senate for agreement on changes. If it passes, court challenges and a ballot fight are expected. A powerful winter storm is poised to bring heavy snow to western Washington's mountain passes this week. Forecasters say people should prepare for whiteout conditions and consider postponing travel over the passes. Here's KIRO 7's Ranji Sinha.
It looks like only maybe less than an inch on the ground, or about an inch, but the snow continues to fall, and it will continue to pile up as we go forward.
Avalanche danger will also be elevated in the backcountry. Seattle voters could decide on a $410 million library levy this August.
Mayor Katie Wilson says the 7-year plan maintains hours at all 27 branches. It also funds things like security, earthquake safety upgrades, new books, and enhanced technology.
I believe each of these new investments are critical to ensure a strong library system for years to come.
For homeowners, the levy would cost 19 cents per $1,000 of their home's assessed value. Mayor Wilson's office says that would amount to about $163 a year for a home worth $872,000, the median value in Seattle. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle Mariners home opener set for March 26th. That's just 2 weeks from tomorrow. And you're going to find cheaper food at the ballpark this season. The team has announced a new 2026 value menu featuring $5 hot dogs and beers. The lineup includes more than 20 food options starting at just $3. It's 5:33. Time to check traffic now. Chris Sullivan is back.
And did you see the Washington State Ferry thing they have, a souvenir ferry where you can upgrade and get like chicken strips or whatever in the middle.
Ferry.
I think it's fish and chips.
Okay,
and then you get like a little souvenir ferry. I saw that on social media.
Yeah, and you get 2
cool.
dipping sides on either side of the. Yeah, I do. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty cool.
I like the little ice cream bowl with the mousse cookies too.
Yeah, so there are a couple of different things there. I'm just trying to distract you because traffic is bad. We've been working with this crash just east of the airport on 518. All eastbound lanes basically of 518 have been blocked right near 99. Now it looks like they might be opening a couple, and then the westbound direction, the 2 inside lanes are blocked, and so people are heading to the airport. You're running into a backup there from I-5, so be prepared for that. We also have a new crash that's blocking the express toll lane on northbound 167 as you work your way north of Kent, approaching 212. The rest of the map, though, looks okay. You're going to need about 45 minutes, though, from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue's under 20. Federal Way to Seattle's 35 minutes, and nothing yet coming down out of the north end, 35 minutes as well from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Well, the forecast is interesting for today. Rainy and windy in the lowlands. We could see gusts up to 40 miles an hour this afternoon and into the evening hours. 51 our high, but the big story is snow in the mountains. Blizzard warning goes into effect this evening, 2 to 4 feet of new snow. Tomorrow will calm down a little bit, cloudy and 46, and then back to the rain on Friday with a high of 43. Those overnight lows in the mid-30s. Right now in Seattle, we have some light rain falling. It's 41.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO Newsradio.
It's now 5:36. Well, time to tap into the world of tap dancing. CBS's John LaPook has a story on the many ebbs and flows of the art form and how one legendary performer is keeping up the rhythm.
Brenda Buffalino and Michelle Dorrance are two of the greatest tap dancers of all time. And archivists are trying to preserve their artistry for future generations. What's going on here?
There's a lot of rhythm.
Buffalino started performing as a child, and now, at 88 years old, hasn't stopped. Were you able to catch the end of vaudeville?
Yes, I was able to catch the end of everything. I started performing at 8.
Her former partners are tap dancing royalty.
Oh, gosh. I danced with them all. Pretty much, there's nobody I didn't dance
Nobody you didn't dance with?
Jimmy Slide, Gregory Hines, the Nicholas Brothers, and of course, Honey Coles. Savion Glover.
Savion Glover.
These are all people I've been in shows with.
And Michelle Dorrance.
Michelle Dorrance.
What was that like for you to watch her doing this and up there and ripping the stage apart? What was that like?
It's heaven.
Buffalino's entire archive is housed at the Jerome Robbins Dance Division of the New York Public Library for the Performing Arts. For Michelle Dorrance, it's a chance to capture lightning in a bottle. Cole Porter wrote great tunes. Years after he's gone, you sit down, you put the music up, you play it. How is dance different? And why is it necessary for her to actually show you what's going on?
Yeah, you could read maybe steps or music or vocabulary on a piece of paper. You will never understand the essence of something unless you are in person. I mean, tap dance is this form that is passed from human to human. There's nothing like experiencing it side by side.
They captured all these solos with cameras, right? This will go into the archives. And the ability to actually talk about the pieces. So whoever is going to see this is going to get a whole historical reference and the process.
That's the
process.
word. That's the word I was thinking.
And that's so important.
If these 2 weeks got rained out, okay, and you never could do them, what would be lost?
A chapter of our legacy would just be completely lost. And that it is being captured and also being held at the library is unbelievable. Like, so that it will be accessible to future generations is incredible.
And for Buffalino, it's about much more than passing on her fancy footwork. It's about creating fertile ground for those to come.
I mean, I obviously want my work to be remembered, but that's not the point, almost. Whatever I do keeps morphing and changing and has been a seed for everything else.
CBS's John LaPook with the story. History made in the NBA.
82 points. Mama, we feel your joy.
His mother clapped wildly as Miami center Bam Adebayo surpassed his hero, the late Kobe Bryant's record, for the second highest scoring game. Then went for one more.
83
and you pass him. You know, in my mind, it's like, what would he say to me? Because I've always wanted to have a conversation with him. He'll probably say me do it again.
Wilt Chamberlain still holds the all-time record of 100 points set in 1962. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
It's 5:39. National headlines coming up here on KIRO News Radio.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Walter is a soccer player, a soccer coach, and a soccer dad. So when he injured his Achilles, it affected everything.
Every time I ran or tried to play soccer, it would just get worse.
And he wasn't the only one dealing with it.
I was a soccer parent, and within a few weeks, 2 other fathers tore their Achilles or damaged their Achilles. They went to the surgery. I went to Dr. Mark Wagner, and I was back up and running, and they were jealous because it took them months to recover. One of them never fully recovered.
That's right. Walter chose to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy. The most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures.
The recovery period is so short, and the feeling that you have of being completely back to normal is overwhelming.
So, whether it's a hip, like I had, a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
High five! Up top! Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Heck yeah! He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread. Yes! The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping. Woo! For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new. And First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
News brief. The U.S. is escalating attacks on Iranian Navy ships in the Strait of Hormuz, destroying 16 capable of laying mines. Iran and Israel trading strikes too. The BBC's Yolande Nell.
Here in Jerusalem, people were woken up by alarms that went off repeatedly in the night to warn of incoming rockets from Iran. We heard the thuds of loud interceptions overhead.
Tornadoes have swept through the nation's midsection. Lake Township, Indiana Fire Chief Rob Churchill.
We have multiple homes destroyed. Lake Village took a direct hit. So please stay away from the area.
No serious injuries reported. The battle for Marjorie Taylor Greene's old seat in Congress is headed to a runoff. The Democrat, Sean Harris.
I want everybody's vote. Come to me, give me that chance, and I promise you, I will bring home the results.
He'll face President Trump's pick, former GOP prosecutor Clayton Fuller. CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
It's 5:44. It is going to be an interesting weather day, especially in the mountains. A blizzard warning goes into effect this evening. 2 to 4 feet of new snow expected. For us, it's going to be rainy and windy. Winds 20 to 30 miles an hour, gusts up to 40, a possibility for the afternoon and evening hours. Warming up to 51 for today. 100% chance of rain. Tomorrow, cloudy and 46. Things will start to calm down. We'll see some rain on Friday. The weekend doesn't look too bad. Some sun breaks on Saturday. Looks pretty nice in the mid-40s. Right now in Seattle, we have light rain falling. It's 41 degrees. And coming up, the shocking number of children who go hungry in America. This is KIRO News Radio.
Whether you've done some preparation already or you're just beginning to plan for your retirement, it's never too late to make sure you have everything covered. Elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayach joins me. You have an opportunity coming soon that will help answer some important questions, don't you?
We do. And every month we take 3 or 4 opportunities to go to the communities and educate people about what proper retirement planning is. The notion of retirement planning around having a hodgepodge plan, working with a financial planner, a lawyer, a CPA, a doctor, those pieces by themselves are not going to give you the results you want in retirement.
And you and the LifePoint Law team want to teach us about the Safe Harbor Trust?
They do. The single biggest financial threat in retirement is an uncovered medical illness. A Safe Harbor Trust, it should be a must in most of these estates, but it's not.
Be part of the next seminar in Tacoma on March 10th, Bellevue on the 12th, Federal Way on the 14th, and Everett March 17th. Learn more and secure your space at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
It's now 5:47 on your Wednesday morning, the 11th of March. Though the Trump administration has discontinued the government's annual report on food insecurity, claiming it does nothing more than fearmonger, the problem of hunger persists. On any given day, almost 48 million Americans, including nearly 14 million children, don't get enough to eat.
There's a traffic jam of shopping carts here at the Community Food Share near Boulder, Colorado.
Any changes to your household information? No.
33-year-old Shannon Patrick waited patiently. She knows the routine. She's a reluctant regular here.
So how long do you think this will last?
The way my 12-year-old is growing, probably a week.
Just a week.
Are you gonna go down?
Shannon is a single mother of 3.
You wanna take this?
Working full-time as a behavioral technician, helping kids with autism. But despite her profession and her education, Shannon barely gets by on her $2,000 a month salary. Tack on rent, student loans, clothes for the kids, and there's very little left for food.
I thought that if I got my bachelor's degree, if I got my master's degree, that would open up so many doors. I wouldn't have to rely on the government, but it just seems like it's not like that.
Like most dealing with food insecurity, she'd rather not talk about it. But she agreed for us because she wanted to show others they're not alone.
It's just like this feeling that society puts on you that you're less than or you're dirty because you have to get this assistance. And I feel almost guilty that like I have these children and I should be able to take care of them, but I'm failing.
You're doing everything you can. I can't imagine what more you could do. Yeah. That's got to be hard on you, though.
Almost 48 million Americans don't get enough to eat.
And look at this little tiger.
Shockingly, about 14 million of those are kids.
There's a notion of earned hunger. The reality is that simply is not manifestly true. That hunger happens here oftentimes in spite of a lot of hard work.
Nigel!
Claire Babineau-Fontenot is the CEO of Feeding America. That's the nation's largest hunger relief organization. Just 2 years into her tenure, the pandemic hit.
During COVID, One of the areas that Congress had the most bipartisan engagement on was hunger. Food insecurity rates went down to one of the lowest rates we've ever had.
Is that right?
That's right. And most people have no idea that it's true, but it is.
But what happened after COVID?
I guess we thought it was done.
If nothing else, she says, COVID proved that hunger can indeed be fixed.
You do red gravy.
Yeah, do red gravy with it.
We caught up with Claire at one of the hundreds of pantries and food banks under the Feeding America umbrella, here at Southern Louisiana's Second Harvest Food Bank.
Good job, people.
Out of kitchens like this one, Feeding America distributed nearly 6 billion meals last year. Billion. But it still fell short.
You can see in the shot of the camera a lot of food.
Yeah.
And that probably leads to a misconception that there's enough food. There's not enough food. Some of the saddest things I've ever seen with food bankers is when they have to turn people away.
Claire was the first of her family to go to college. She put herself through law school, too. And then she hit a bump in the road.
I went into my refrigerator in my little teeny-weeny apartment, and I realized that I literally had nothing to eat. It's interesting how something can happen that long ago and how it can feel like it's happening right now.
She'd heard of the Salvation Army. She didn't want to go. She had to go.
I can remember barely talking above a whisper. And then I remember this lady. She walked up to me and she just had this beautiful, warm smile. And she said, "You need some help, baby?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am."
The power of that single act of kindness followed Claire the rest of her life. She went on to become a tax attorney, rising to executive vice president and global treasurer for Walmart. No small job.
I've actually met her.
But in 2015, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a tap on the shoulder, she says, to reprioritize her life. So she quit Walmart and made a leap she thought her parents would understand more than anyone. Mary Alice and Warren Babineau are both gone now. But in their hometown of Opelousas, Louisiana, the family was known for helping shelter, feed, and love almost any child they knew was in trouble.
Hey, sweetie, how you doing?
So much so, Claire ended up with 107 siblings. 107.
And my mom always had this watchful eye. So
on any given Sunday, the Babineaus took up nearly an entire pew here at their church. Some of them were biological, some adopted, some fostered, but Claire won't tell you which is which.
I don't answer that question, mostly because in the not answering, I get to say this. That is the least important thing about our family.
My parents truly believed in feeding the neighborhood.
That's one of Claire's multiple sisters, Cynthia.
I will never forget one day a young man came to the home directly from the hospital with his hospital gown. He said, Mrs. Babineau said, if I'm hungry, come to the house and I will get food. And my response was, absolutely. And I prepared a meal for him.
CBS's Lee Cowan with the story. Some new research finds birth rates have increased in states with total abortion bans, along with growing need for assistance for families. Here's CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes.
In the 13 states with total abortion bans, researchers find an increase in both birth rates and the need for food assistance in 2023, the year after Roe v. Wade was overturned. Lily Springer at the University of Kansas says
that would be about $6.9 million in additional food costs.
Springer says in states that were most likely to ban abortion,
there were holes in the system and people were less likely to easily get access.
Some states have a cap on their government WIC program, which could lead to wait lists for mothers in need. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
And a milestone in the fight to get people to stop smoking.
Cigarette smoking is declining in the U.S. A national survey published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that the number of people smoking cigarettes dropped from 10.8% in 2023 to 9.9% in 2024. However, the number of people smoking cigars or using e-cigarettes didn't decline. Overall, around 1 in 5 Americans report using tobacco products.
That's correspondent Michael George. It's 5:54. Our weather for today, rainy and windy in the lowlands. We could see gusts up to 40 miles an hour this afternoon and evening in the Seattle area. Our high 51. Lots of new snow in the mountains. Actually going to have a blizzard warning go into effect this evening. Things will calm down tomorrow. Just a cloudy day with a high of 46, and then it looks like rain returns on Friday. Right now in Seattle, we do have some light rain falling. It's 41 degrees. In case you haven't heard, latest on the income tax. It's passed after 24 hours of debate in the House. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey will have the latest. And speaking of the weather, we're going to hear from Scott Sistek, his forecast, so you know when to hit the roads, and the slopes could be tricky crossing the mountains. This is Seattle's Morning News. You can always text us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. That's 888-973-5476. This is KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I had pain, I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug, and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Mariners fans, the 2026 season is officially on deck. And Cal, Julio, and the defending AL West champs are ready to feed off your energy at T-Mobile Park. Be here for every monster home run.
There it is, number 60. The magical tour of Cal Raleigh just continues.
Every 100-mile-per-hour heater.
He throws it and the ball game's over. Andres Munoz has simply been incredible.
Every clutch moment.
A bases clearing, 3-run double by Josh Naylor. Holy smokes, the Mariners have the lead.
It's going to be an epic 50th season, and you won't want to miss it. Mariners baseball, try to answer.
The Mariners' first homestand is stacked. Don't miss opening day on March 26th. Cal Raleigh's 60 home run bobblehead night on March 28th. Presented by Alaska Airlines. And a star-powered showdown against Aaron Judge and the Yankees. March 30th through April 1st. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
Many financial plans include some level of tax awareness. When retirement begins, considering taxes isn't enough. One overlooked tax decision can quietly cost families thousands over time. At Madrona Financial and CPAs, your plan isn't built around products. It's built around coordination. Licensed CPAs and experienced advisors working together, aligning investments, retirement income, and intergenerational planning using tax-efficient strategies. Padrona Financial and CPAs. Planning built on credentials. Padrona Financial Services is an SEC registered investment advisor.
Fresh food comes from local farms. Check the package. For the best for your family, choose locally fresh Wilcox Family Farms eggs. And for eggs with 3 times the omega-3, choose Wilcox Omega-3 eggs. Wilcox Family Farms. Locally fresh since 1909.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A severe storm system has spawned tornadoes across parts of the Midwest. One twister tore apart homes in Lake Village, Indiana, with deadly results. Fire Department spokeswoman Lori Postma.
We began going to where there was obvious damage, and we did locate some very injured people and 2 fatalities.
A tornado that touched down in Kankakee, Illinois, flattened entire blocks. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano says there's more bad weather ahead.
Today's action shouldn't be as supercellular, which gives you those EF3, AF4 giant long track tornadoes, but it will be widespread from Houston, Texas through Nashville, all the way up potentially to Philadelphia. And we'll see damaging winds, hail.
The war in the Middle East's entered day 12. Air raid sirens in Tel Aviv warn of incoming strikes. A neighborhood in Tehran battered as U.S. forces set their sights on Iranian mine-laying ships in the Persian Gulf. Correspondent Matt Gutman from Tel Aviv.
Arab states along the Gulf, including the U.S. bases they host, still face dozens of daily missiles and one-way attack drones. In Bahrain, drone strikes targeted a residential building and an oil refinery, which has been smoldering for days. Dubai's airport confirming it was targeted by 2 drones, which left 4 people wounded.
Both Germany and Austria say they're releasing parts of their oil reserves to offset energy price spikes. Here in the U.S., the average price for regular gasoline is up to $3.58 a gallon. Logan Gabbard, a trucker in Atlanta, is feeling it.
I was going to make plans at the end of March, but since gas prices have went up as much as they have, I can't go through with those plans now.
New fodder for the Fed. The pace of inflation held steady in February, rising at an annual rate of 2.4%. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
The big categories that really hurt Americans are categories like shelter, which is up 3% from a year ago, and medical care services, which are up by 4.1%.
The Social Security Administration's Inspector General is investigating a potential data breach by a former DOJ employee. CBS's Michael Wallace.
A whistleblower claims a former DOJ software engineer bragged about having the sensitive Social Security data of 500 million living and dead Americans on a thumb drive and planned to share the data with the government contractor he now works for. The Washington Post reports the former DOJ employee allegedly told the colleague he expected to receive a presidential pardon if he were ever convicted of a crime.
This is CBS News.
Go to the ends of the earth, half a world away. Reach for the stars.
If I take time to think, they might go get Brad.
On CBS, Sunday morning.
It's 6:03. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan at the traffic desk.
And we've improved from what we had just a half an hour ago, where we had a couple of crashes. They've all cleared, and our traffic looks relatively normal. Northbound 405 from Renton to Bellevue, starting to see a little braking there. We have about an 18-minute trip for you. Behind that, the Valley Freeway is a little slowing out of Auburn. We had an earlier problem in Kent, but overall, we're under 40 minutes to go from Puyallup up into Renton. Federal Way to Seattle's about 35. We do have brake lights through the Kent-Des Moines Road, but it's manageable. Out of the north end, we've just started to see the braking on southbound I-5 as you work your way past Northgate. Under 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. The bad news for this morning, we got it late last night. First Avenue South Bridge, northbound direction, the lanes are going to remain closed through at least Friday. The damage a little bit worse than they expected, and so the lanes are not going to open later today. We've got 3 more morning commutes to deal with. This report brought to you by D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton has new homes and communities across Puget Sound and Central Washington. Ready for you. Visit drhorton.com, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
At 6:04, good morning. After more than 24 hours of nonstop debate, lawmakers have approved a new income tax on households earning more than $1 million a year.
The bill now heads back to the Senate before going to Governor Bob Ferguson, who says he will sign it.
And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest. Luke.
Well, the vote was closer than some expected, with 8 Democrats voting against the bill.
There are 51 yeas, 46 nays, 1 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority in gross substitute Senate Bill 6346 as amended by the House is declared passed.
You know, the story leading up to this point has been that the Republicans trying to stall the bill, the 9.9% tax on people making $1 million or more. They introduced nearly 60 amendments. That's why the session was so long. Here was Jeremy Defoe, one of the last speakers on the House floor before that final vote.
This tax will soon hit regular working Washingtonians, all of them. These taxes start small and grow. Our state's problems are rooted in a lack of financial discipline, not a lack of revenue.
However, Democrats like Chapalo Street, well, they stuck to their guns for that 17-plus hour monster session.
While our economy has changed, our tax code has not kept up. And if we want to provide real tax relief to fund essential services, we can't afford to keep kicking structural tax relief down the road.
So now the bill heads back to the Senate to approve a few amendments. One clarifies this tax cannot be leveled on any household with an income below $1 million. Republicans have been arguing, and you heard it a little bit just a second ago, that this will someday turn into an income tax on everyone in the state. Other changes include exempting libraries from paying a sales tax on services and giving some licensed healthcare services a break on business tax surcharges as well. So the governor was waiting in the wings of the House chamber during the final vote. He says the bill will bring in between $3.5 and $4 billion annually to pay for services across the state, and any leftover money will then go back into the general fund. Charlie and Manda, some 60 amendments proposed, but they debated on everyone. They voted on all those. The vast majority failed, obviously. Those were stall tactics. However, for instance, there was one amendment that called for delaying the tax until the NBA approves a team here in Washington. That failed, too. Now for the fallout, what's going to happen to people making $1 million or more per year, including businesses? Are they going to stay? Are they going to leave? What's going to happen?
Well, one of those who won't be paying that $1 million or millionaire income tax is the longtime leader of Starbucks. He says he's leaving Washington State. Howard Schultz announced yesterday that he and his wife are moving to Miami. Timing is hard to ignore. It came just hours after the Democrats passed that state income tax.
Schultz says this move is about family and sunshine, not taxes. According to Newsweek, he's worth about $3.5 billion. He bought Starbucks in 1987 and served as CEO 3 separate times.
Washington State Senate gave final approval Monday to a controversial law enforcement accountability bill. SB 5974 passed 30-19. It allows the state to decertify sheriffs and police chiefs who fail to meet professional standards. Democratic Senator John Lovick is the prime sponsor.
The legislation will ensure that law enforcement leaders are highly prepared and are held to the same standards of accountability and conduct that we expect of other law enforcement officers.
Critics say the bill undermines local voters by giving an unelected state board power over elected officials.
A Republican state senator has been removed from an oversight board after using a slur on the Senate floor. Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck replaced Senator Leonard Christian with Senator Nikki Torres on the state's Child Welfare Oversight Board. Christian drew sharp criticism after using a slur for people with intellectual disabilities during the floor debate last week. Christian has defended his language but has not apologized.
And in case you heard Sully mentioning this, there's rough news for drivers. The northbound lanes of the First Avenue South Bridge will not reopen later today. Damage to the bridge deck is worse than engineers expected. The lanes will not reopen until at least late Friday night.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Here we are. It's Wednesday, March 11th. Charlie and Manda riding along with you this morning.
Good morning.
Just a little preview. I just got off speaking with Scott Sistek. We're going to have him on at 6:15.
Snowing in the mountains a little bit.
A lot. And it's going to be rough this afternoon if you're out driving. A big windstorm is on the way.
All right, stay with us for that. Glad to have you with us. Chris Sullivan watching traffic every 10 minutes. Producer Paul Holden in for David Burbank today. Nick Gracia is running the board and picking the music.
And I have bad news for you, Amanda.
I don't want any bad news.
Paul is not here to do Weekend Planner. It is not Friday. It's Wednesday. I know you see, Paul, you get all excited. You think the weekend is upon us.
I got the email last night that he was going to be
Pavlovian
here
response.
on Wednesday.
I know. I'm sorry to be I'm bringing the midweek fun. How about that?
I'm happy to see you whenever you can come in.
Okay, coming up this hour of the show, we're going to talk with Scott Sistek about snow in the mountains. That's coming up at 6:15.
And this hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
A frantic father is asking for the public's help to find his missing daughter. KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch says she's been missing since February 28th.
Violet Benjamin is 5'10" and a half with a slim build, brown hair and brown eyes with tattoos on her arms, neck, and shoulder. There have been sightings in the Ballard area, but she may also be on Capitol Hill or in the U District. Her father, Yobi Benjamin, flew to Seattle from San Francisco to help search for his daughter.
She suffers from mental health issues. She's very vulnerable, and we'd like to find her and take her home.
You can see Violet's picture at mynorthwest.com. If you see her on the street, call 911. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
We are hearing from the Skykomish School District where a staff member is accused of sexual misconduct with a student. KIRO 7's Elle Thomas details a sudden school closure.
The district sent a statement saying the school is shut down until Monday, March 16th, saying in part, quote, "We are committed to immediate steps to ensure all students are safe and protected now and for the future." Right now, investigators say they are not aware of any additional victims, but they're asking anyone who may have information to come forward.
The 62-year-old male suspect is in custody, due in court today, and the school district will also hold a meeting today.
Seattle voters could decide on a $410 million library levy this August.
Mayor Katie Wilson says the 7-year plan maintains hours at all 27 branches and also funds things like security, earthquake safety upgrades, new books, and enhanced technology.
I believe each of these new investments are critical to ensure a strong library system for years to come.
For homeowners, the levy would cost 19 cents per $1,000 of their home's assessed value. Mayor Wilson's office says that would amount to about $163 a year for a home worth $872,000, the median value in Seattle. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
City Council will review the proposal, and if they approve it, it will go to voters.
There's no beef. That's the word from Seattle Mariners star Cal Raleigh. During Monday night's USA-Mexico World Baseball Classic game, his Mariners teammate Randy Arozarena offered Raleigh a handshake at the plate. Raleigh didn't take it. Arozarena later made some pretty pointed, expletive-filled comments in Spanish. Cal spoke with our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
I hate that this is a thing. I really don't think this is a big deal, a big story. It shouldn't be a thing. I love Randy.
Here's Mariners manager Dan Wilson.
I know how much these guys love each other, and well, not concerned.
By the way, the USA won that game 5-3, but lost last night to Italy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the manager for Team USA admitted he didn't know the rules.
What?
Go on.
That said that he didn't realize that they could be knocked out of pool play, which they could be. They may not make the next round because they didn't understand the rules, that if there's tiebreakers and things that you could lose. He admitted that.
Well, that's a bummer.
That's like Little League All-Star 101.
You got to know the rules. If you're
come on, man. Seriously. We created this sport. How do you not know the rules?
All right.
6:13 now, time to get a check on the weather, and it is going to be stormy and rainy and windy around here today. We'll get into greater detail with Scott Sistek in just a moment, but don't even think about trying to cross the mountain passes later today. We have blizzard conditions and heavy snow. It is expected to basically bring cross-state travel to gridlock. Tomorrow, we dry out and just occasional showers. And the weekend right now looking like occasional showers. Another atmospheric river, however, could be on the way by Sunday.
Love those things.
No, we don't.
6:13. Let's talk about traffic now. We do that every 10 minutes, and we already have some big problems, Sully.
Well, the good news is they cleared up, actually, during your fabulous 5 o'clock hour, as we're calling it now. The fabulous five. But I just checking the passes right now. If you're heading go now, as Charlie mentioned, it's going to be really tough this afternoon. Right now, traction tires are only advised across Snoqualmie Pass. Traction tires are required, though, over Stevens and White. As for our commutes around here now, we're not too bad. There's a little yellow on the map here and there, little red in places as well, but we get through it okay. So if you're Puyallup up to Renton, you're going to hit the brakes right around the Highway 18 interchange, a little bit more at the north end, but we're under 45 minutes to make it up to Renton. Then Renton to Bellevue is only about 17 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle does have some action past the Kent-Des Moines Road, a little bit past the West Seattle Bridge, but overall 40 minutes for you guys isn't too bad. Do expect a lot more traffic today from South Center on up into downtown because of the ongoing closure of the northbound direction of the First Avenue South Bridge. Across the lake, no problems coming down from the north end, a little over 40 from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO Newsradio.
Wednesday morning, I thought we would check in with meteorologist Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather blog, emeraldcityweather.com. And Scott, we have some big-time snow heading for the mountains. What are we looking for this afternoon?
Well, especially up in the mountains, it's looking really challenging because when the storm is coming in, we're going to have a lot of heavy rain down here in the lowlands. All that rain's going to be falling as snow in the mountains for most of the day. And so combine all that snow with the windstorm that's coming in here, we'll have some gusts, 45, 50 miles an hour, even in the mountains. So you're going to have heavy snow plus a lot of wind, and that's going to make like blizzard-like conditions. So there are blizzard warnings in effect for the Cascades, both for Stevens Pass and Snoqualmie Pass and all the passes up there and the Olympics. So we're looking at very difficult and dangerous conditions. It's going to be whiteout conditions up there, very, very heavy snow, very strong winds. So you don't want to be in the mountains later today or this evening or tonight. There may be a little bit of a brief period this afternoon where the snow level briefly goes up over Snoqualmie Pass and changes it to rain. It only may be for a few hours. So I don't think you want to try and chance it and be like, ooh, now I have it's raining up there. But yeah, it just snowed a bunch. It's going to cool off right after the storm passes and this front goes through this evening, and the snow levels will go right back down below Snoqualmie Pass. So by late this evening through tonight and into tomorrow, it's all heavy snow and wind and blizzard-like conditions again. So while you may see a very brief window this afternoon or evening where Snoqualmie might be raining and windy, don't think that the snowstorm is over. It's coming back. So just keep that in mind. Blizzard conditions in the mountains, very wet and windy down here in the lowlands. You're going to have a lot of snow and a lot of wind today. So really crazy conditions up there.
Up there and wind down here. What are we expecting?
Right. So when that low center comes through, that's kind of more like a traditional autumn, winter time windstorm here. There'll be the storm is going to go into Vancouver Island around, let's say between 2 and 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's going to sweep across inland British Columbia. As the front comes through here, that's going to pull up the wind through the Puget Sound area in western Washington. So we're thinking about mid to late afternoon, the winds are going to start picking up. And then as we get into the evening, that's going to be the really peak time for the winds. So like your evening commute today, Seattle area, Tacoma, Puget Sound, pretty windy. So we're looking at gusts 45, maybe 50 miles an hour, maybe a rogue gust to 55 along the coast and up north and maybe near the water. So peak wind times about 5 to 8, let's call it this afternoon and this evening. And then once that front comes through, we actually get a secondary little wind surge that'll come down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Those of you in the North Sound and live along the strait have probably seen this before. So another surge of west wind between around 8 and 11 p.m. tonight, and that would be up along Port Angeles, Sequim, into Whidbey Island, the San Juans, and down into probably Snohomish and parts of Skagit County as well. Could see it.
And what does that mean for property damage, stuff like that? Is this enough to be destructive?
It's sort of borderline to where we get into really hairy situations. I mean, 45 to 50 miles an hour, we go through that multiple times a winter. But the only difference now is, it's been a while since we've had a pretty decent wind. It's March. I don't think the trees are really leafy yet. From what I've seen, I know the cherry blossoms are kind of blooming, but don't have too many leaves to catch the wind, but it still might be more than usual. And then for the west wind folks, wherever that comes in up in the North Sound, the west wind tends to be a little more crazy because the trees aren't used to a west wind. Usually we get south winds here and we get a windstorm. So today will be the south wind at first. Front goes through. We switch over to the west wind in the North Sound. And that's where I think, kind of those Whidbey Island, Camino Island, San Juans, maybe even like Skagit, western Snohomish County, even maybe down to North King County and northeastern Kitsap County might get, a little like gust of wind of like 50 miles an hour out of the west or the northwest. And that could be a little more problematic than the south winds were a few hours earlier.
So probably not a bad idea to charge your batteries and just prepare for a gnarly afternoon commute.
Yep. Yes, prepare for an early afternoon commute. It's going to be wet. It'll be windy, even if it's not 50 miles an hour. If it's like 30, 35 miles an hour with a heavy rain, that's no fun to drive in. There'll probably be puddles on the road and everything, and windshield wipers on full blast. So it'll be a long afternoon commute, long evening commute. Just be ready for that. Maybe push your dinner plans back a little bit, or if you've got somebody coming home, expect them to maybe be a little later today.
And this isn't the end of it. We have another atmospheric river setting up somewhere. What do we know about this?
Right. So this storm will kind of abate as we get into tonight, and into tomorrow morning. We will still be having snow in the mountains through the night into Thursday and Friday. The jet stream will still keep pushing moisture there. So heavy snow Thursday, Friday. Kind of a break in the weather this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, not so bad. As we get into early next week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we have another one of these storm systems setting up. And this one's aligning a little different. Instead of being a cold system, it's a warmer system. It's kind of like the ones we had in December and November, where it's kind of starting in Hawaii and making a beeline up into the northwest. The question is, where is that river going to land? Where is it going to be pushing all the moisture? There's been some uncertainty whether it's going to go into British Columbia and kind of hit the Vancouver Island area and soak them more, or if it's going to sink down and hit more like Pacific Northwest, and here we are back here in Washington and Oregon. Lately, we're kind of leaning more toward our area. So it is possible that we are going to go through another round of this early next week. It's just, it would be a much warmer round. We're talking snow levels 6,000 to 8,000 feet. It's all rain. It's, not great for all the snow we're just putting in the mountains. Now we're going to wash it, some of it away. So skiers, if you do need your day to get out there, I would say go this weekend, like Friday, Saturday. It's still going to be snowing up there. Maybe if you had to pick a day, Saturday into Sunday, there's your perfect snow day, and then be ready for wet next week.
Okay, and any concerns about flooding or anything like that?
It's too early to tell, but we definitely have to watch. We've had these patterns before. We've seen it where, we get really heavy rain for a few days, and if it's a high enough snow level, it could cause some problems. The advantage this time is we will at least have some snow, new snow in the mountains to kind of catch some of that rain. We had that big December rainstorm. We had almost no snow up there. So all that rain just basically went straight into the rivers with nothing to stop it. And now at least we'll have some snow up there to act like a sponge. So it won't be as dire of a situation as it was in December, but it's still not good anytime you've got snow levels of 8,000 feet and a whole lot of rain coming in on top of it.
Okay, so tough day going over the mountains. It's going to be a tough drive going home. And it's just going to be an active rest of the week for weather. Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather Blog. Scott, thanks for your time this morning. So we got, let's see, a windstorm here in the lowlands. We have a blizzard in the mountains. How about an earthquake? Pacific Northwest Seismic Network marked a magnitude 2.4 earthquake northeast of Olympia this morning. KIRO 7 Dee Sun has the details.
It happened at 3:49 a.m., registering at a magnitude of 2.9, making it harder to feel because it's pretty small. The depth measuring at just under 17 miles.
No injuries or damage reported, but residents might have felt light shaking.
Okay, what else is going to happen today?
Nothing else. Everything else will be rainbows
just
and puppy dogs.
Just a blizzard and a windstorm and an earthquake.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Not too bad. Sully is here with traffic on the 3s.
And it's going to be a breeze. Yeah, traffic's going to be fabulous.
You just jinxed it.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, I did. And I did it intentionally. Because I want everybody to listen to the fabulous show that we have. I want you to give us all the next 3 hours. No, out there right now, it's not too bad. We do have a crash on southbound I-5 right past Lake City Way. So kind of after the forced merge, it's moved over to the right shoulder, it looks like. But we're seeing already 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle, a little under 45 from Everett to Bellevue. So already kind of off to the races there. A few more customers definitely on northbound I-5 as you make your way through the Duwamish Curve, trying to make your way out of South Center. That is all the people who would normally be on 509 out of Burien this morning. I think they realized yesterday that they don't want 509, and I get it, because the First Avenue South Bridge in the northbound direction remains closed, And by the way, it's going to stay closed through Friday now. They found too much damage there. It's going to take a few more days to fix that. So you're going to have to alter your plans through at least Friday. Looking at about a 43-minute trip now from Federal Way to Seattle. Valley Freeway, a little over 40 minutes, but not by much. Starting to see a little slowing in Fife, but some stuff you can handle. Olympia to Tacoma is under 35 minutes. 18 also in fine shape. This report brought to you by the Seattle RV Show. Don't miss the Seattle RV Show, March 12th through the 15th at Lumen Field Events Center. Shop over 400 new models for every budget and lifestyle. Get tickets at seattlervshow.com.
Well, our forecast, you just heard it all from Scott Sistek. It is going to be very active for the next day. Rainy and windy for all of us. Could have gusts up to 40 miles an hour in Seattle. And I keep saying the big stories in the mountains, but our windstorm is a pretty big one, too. But that blizzard warning goes into effect this evening, 2 to 4 feet of new snow. Things will calm down tomorrow, cloudy and 46, and then some rain returns on Friday with a high of 43. So far, the weekend doesn't look too bad. We'll see some sun breaks on Saturday. Right now in Seattle, light rain and 41 degrees. And coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has the latest from Olympia as the tax on millionaires has passed. Also, your opening bell report, gas prices still on the rise. What about inflation? This is Seattle's Morning News.
Word here for the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. If you have saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement. It's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security, and other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis. It's from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not for just 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. That's 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
The John Curley Show.
When people sit there and they see people with the American flag and they're utterly disgusted because they associate the flag and USA with Donald Trump, don't do that. You're doing yourself an amazing disservice.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You could dislike Donald Trump, but you can still love America. It's like discounting Photograph from Nickelback, which is actually a pretty good song. Think of the fact that you love this country, and what you love about it is it's inclusive. Good. Include others.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
A 20-year study published in Current Biology showed a sizable increase in fatal accidents following spring daylight saving time. Pay attention and slow down. Many drivers are dealing with less sleep and an adjustment to their routines. If you, a friend, or family member are involved in a car accident, call CAR. The Herald Car Law Offices have 7 locations across Western Washington to serve accident victims, and they are at their best when dealing with insurance companies. Focus on your recovery while the team at the Herald Car Law Offices tracks down paperwork and communicates with insurance on your behalf. Not only will they help you recover the amount you deserve from insurance, they'll save you a lot of time and money in trying to do it yourself. They understand how difficult it is to recover from a serious injury, while they hold the insurance company or other negligent party accountable. Herald Car Law Offices can help. Go to carlaw.com. That's CARR. carlaw.com. Car accident? Call CAR.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Your new home is now ready. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new homes that are ready today. With new construction communities throughout the Puget Sound and Central Washington areas and more coming, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. At D.R. Horton, we're still building with more construction, more communities, and more homes available every day. Find your new home, now ready at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Hartley here from Wilcox Family Farms. I'm so excited to have my cousin Amelia with me today. So I saw that you visited the baby chicks.
I got to hold 7 of them. They were so cute.
Do you know why Wilcox chickens are so happy?
Because they get to play outside?
Yes.
Happy chickens are healthy chickens.
From our farm to your table, Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh
since 1909.
Find your pot of gold at Lake Washington Windows and Doors with savings up to 20% on new windows and doors for your home. Plus, enjoy easy 12-month same as cash financing. Strike gold today. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:31. There is more fallout after a 62-year-old gym teacher and coach at Guycomish K-12 school was arrested Friday on suspicion of sexually assaulting a student for 2 years, allegedly starting when the victim was in 7th grade.
The school district has now hired a PR firm that just released a letter that contradicts what King County investigators said about what happened.
We get the update this morning from KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey.
So in this new letter to families that was just released overnight, the district first apologized for the lack of information provided to parents in real time when King County deputies arrested the suspect at the school on Friday. They announced the school will be closed through Monday for the community there to process all of this, and they're launching an independent third-party investigation into the events surrounding the allegations. However, in the very first sentence of the letter, the district now says they first learned about the accusations against their teacher on Friday when he was arrested. In court documents, King County deputies say students and at least 2 staff members, including a counselor and a secretary, and they named those 2 staff members as well in the documents, well, they expressed concerns about the suspect and the victim. And the school's principal, according to those court documents, required another student, not an adult, to be present whenever the 2 were in the same room. A deputy said the victim transferred to that school because of a trauma at a different school she had been through, and her relationship with the suspect began when she confided in the suspect about her experiences. Deputies say the suspect then went on to give her gifts over the years that escalated over the years to giving her alcohol some 3 to 4 times a week, miniskirts, lingerie, including some other items as well. It took the victim's mother to report this to investigators. Apparently, court documents say she found images and messages on her daughter's phone. All right, now back to this new letter from the district. It says they are reviewing their policies and protocols now to ensure Every employee and student knows how concerns can be reported, including anonymously, and how those reports are acted upon. Also, while they're not naming the suspect because we're not naming the suspect, that is, because he hasn't been charged, that could happen today, those charges. We do know he was a soccer coach in the region for years. If you have any concerns, if you're a parent listening, call law enforcement if you do have any of those concerns.
Okay. Thank you for that update, Luke. Marathon debate in Olympia over the proposed millionaire tax set a record in the Washington House.
You know, that proposal would tax income over $1 million at nearly 10%. Republicans argue the tax will become a slippery slope, but Democrats say it could raise billions for education and boost affordability.
So you see things in the bill that speaks to both of those around affordability and making life less expensive for our small businesses as well as our working families.
That was Democratic Representative April Berg. The governor has said he will sign it.
It's time to check traffic with Chris Sullivan as we have the calm before the storm.
Yeah, and right now it's not too bad out there. We do have a crash to tell you about that's impacting our drive coming down from Linwood. We're up to an hour and 5 minutes from Everett to Seattle and 45 minutes from Linwood to get you down into Seattle because of a crash that's now over on the right-hand shoulder, right where Lake City Way comes on in, and so it's over on the right side. It did block the right lane for a little bit, but we're backed up well before 145th now. A little bit better on the 405 side of things. It's a little more yellow than red, but we're kind of teetering on the edge there. You're going to have about 45 minutes total from Everett down into Bellevue, so that's about a 15-minute faster drive. The rest of the map looks okay. I mean, I-5 northbound does have more action through the top of the Duwamish curve, but that's to be expected with all the people who would normally take 509 out of Burien going to I-5 again this morning. 45 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. 509 itself is not too bad, approaching the First Avenue South Bridge, and Cloverdale Street is relatively open until you get over to 14th there on the detour route. Renton to Bellevue, about 25 minutes. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, we're about 25 out of Auburn, 45 all the way. Looks like some slowing down the South Hill into and through Puyallup, but you can get through it okay. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app and stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
Our forecast, rainy and windy for today. In fact, we have 100% chance of rain, about a half inch. The winds are going to pick up in the afternoon and evening hours. Snow in the mountains, blizzard warning goes into effect this evening. Our high today, 51. Cloudy tomorrow, things will calm down just a tad, 46, but the rain returns on Friday. Right now in Seattle, we have some light rain falling. It's 41.
6:36, time for the opening bell report. CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger breaks down today's monthly numbers from the government on inflation.
The government has reported that prices accelerated slightly in the month of February. The annual inflation rate was 2.4%. The core rate, which strips out food and energy, was up by 2.5%. These results were expected.
Not surprisingly, Washington's gas prices jumped up again. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun.
$4.72 a gallon is now the average price across Washington state, according to AAA. That is 32 cents higher than last week and 66 cents higher than a month ago.
The national average right now is $3.58 a gallon.
The International Energy Agency is proposing the largest reserve of oil release of oil reserves in history to offset the big jump in crude prices since the war with Iran began. Here's CBS's Michael Wallace.
The IEA's 32-member countries will vote on the proposal today. Just one no vote could cause a delay. The previous record release of 182 million barrels was in 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine. The problem this time is the near total closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which 1/5 of the world's oil supply moves through. Oil prices have soared as much as 40% since the war began, though they've now fallen back below $100 a barrel.
In fact, this morning they're at $86.19 a barrel.
What a roller coaster. President Trump will be in Ohio and Kentucky today addressing growing concerns over the cost of the conflict with Iran and the growing energy prices Americans are experiencing. Here's News Nation's Tom Dempsey.
New numbers out from the Pentagon show the first 2 days of strikes against Iran cost more than $5 billion in munitions, and gas prices are also a major concern right now. And in a glimpse into how Americans feel about the situation, new polling out from Quinnipiac University shows 74% of registered voters describe themselves as either very or somewhat concerned that the war with Iran will cause oil and gas prices to rise here in the U.S.
According to Gas Buddy, the average price for a gallon of gas is up 60 cents since last month.
A CBS News investigation is uncovering a growing Medicare fraud scheme involving identity theft and fake hospice care. The problem has long plagued the system and cost taxpayers millions each year. CBS News correspondent Adam Yamaguchi has the details.
There's one hospice here that hits all 6 of California's red flags of possible fraud.
Well, there's no hospice there.
Clark tells us when offices like these close abruptly, it's real patients in desperate need who pay the price.
How does that make you feel?
Sad. Really sad. Because I talk to them every day.
And a CBS News exclusive finds TSA absences have surged during the government shutdown, with hundreds of officers quitting and call-out rates rising at airports across the country. The staffing shortages are leading to longer security lines. CBS News Homeland Security and Justice reporter Nicole Skenga.
We were told by former TSA Administrator John Pistole that after the 2025 shutdown last year, TSA lost nearly 1,100 security officers who resigned because they were missing paychecks. And so the concern is we've already lost 305 employees to this government shutdown. Does that number grow after this upcoming Friday when frontline workers miss their first full paycheck?
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 63 points. S&P 500 is up 13, and the Nasdaq has gained 89.
Spring showers, yeah, right. More like spring sprinkles, downpours, hailstorms, cold snaps, flooding, and sometimes even a little sun. Spring in Western Washington changes day to day, even hour to hour. That's why you need experts who have decades of experience and the right tools to keep you weather ready. Watch KIRO 7 pinpoint weather forecasts in every newscast and on the KIRO 7 apps for your phone or TV.
Okay, Chris, what's coming up in traffic?
We're running already behind southbound I-5 trying to get through Shoreline and down into Seattle. We'll break it down next.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
2 competing budget proposals.
Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Clogged gutters? Not anymore. K-Guard by Guardian keeps leaves out, water flowing, and your home protected year-round. No maintenance, no rust, just lasting peace of mind. Guardian Roofing, the original make-your-roof-last company. Visit guardianroofing.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Your new home is now ready. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new homes that are ready today. With new construction communities throughout the Puget Sound and Central Washington areas and more coming, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. At D.R. Horton, we're still building with more construction, more communities, and more homes available every day. Find your new home, now ready at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Why RV? Because there's so much to see, to experience, to explore. Because getting there is as much fun as being there. See all the new models and talk to experts at the Seattle RV Show, March 12 through 15. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
It's 6:43, and Chris Sullivan is watching the roads for us.
We're already up to an hour and 5-minute trip from Everett into Seattle, behind schedule by about 15 or so, 20 minutes maybe over what you might have expected. We had a crash that was blocking the right lane of southbound 5 right around Lake City Way, getting past 85th. But it's over to the right shoulder. It's still there. There's plenty of lights around it, but not blocking anymore. But we kind of set this table with that. And so give yourself 45 minutes from Linwood. We have under 50 all the way from Everett into Bellevue. So that is a much faster drive at this point. Looking at northbound I-5, seeing a lot more slowing, getting up from South Center through the Duwamish curve towards the towards the Boeing Access Road. That's because those are people who would normally be on 509 northbound, but they've decided to bail, which is a good decision because the First Avenue South Bridge in the northbound direction remains blocked. And if you didn't hear, it will be blocked through Friday now. It's taking longer to do those emergency repairs. So northbound I-5, over 45 minutes to go from Federal Way to Seattle. So about a 10-minute delay total. Renton to Bellevue is not quite a half an hour yet. Behind that, the Valley Freeway's running a little over 45. Relatively normal day for you guys. It's heaviest right there at Highway 18. Eastbound 512, just a little bit of volume down the hill. Also seeing some eastbound slowing on 16, getting past Cheney Stadium there past 19th. Looks like we might have a crash there as we're approaching Union. I'll have more for you on that in 10 minutes. Across the lake, no issues for you guys. This report brought to you by the Washington State Lottery. Play the $15 St. Patty's Day raffle ticket from Washington's Lottery with a $1 million grand prize. Only 250,000 tickets available. Get yours before they're gone.
Forecast calls for rain, heavy at times here in the lowland with plenty of wind. Gusts over 50 miles an hour in the Seattle area. And in the mountains, blizzard conditions this afternoon. We're talking feet of snow, heavy wind as well. Right now in Seattle, it's calm before the storm. We have cloudy skies. It's 39.
An update on the war in Iran coming up here on Seattle's Morning News with CBS's Jeff McCausland.
Remember that time we were driving through France and for some reason we didn't have GPS?
Oh, for some reason? That reason would be that you didn't plug your phone in because you didn't have a charger.
Yeah, because I let you borrow my phone so you could call your mother, and you're on the phone for like 30 minutes telling her where we are. But that aside, we didn't know where we were going. We did fight a little bit because we didn't know where we were going. I think that Longevity Medical Clinic is like the GPS for us. They tell us which turns to make. They tell us which directions to go, right?
They do. And now I feel like the two of us together have a clear path and we have more control over our own health care.
Right, exactly. So you don't have to get out of the car and try to find information somewhere. It's all right there. As you're aging, all the little sort of turns you have to make in order to be able to have lots of energy and to enjoy your life. So for as far as I'm concerned, Longevity Medical Clinic is our GPS. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Good morning at 6:47. While you were sleeping, the U.S. launched an intense barrage at Iranian Navy ships in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Both sides are fighting to control that key waterway for global oil supplies.
Let's bring in CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland once again. Great to have you with us. What do we know about these commercial ships being attacked in the Strait?
Well, it's up to 3 ships now, Amanda, have been struck. Now, it's unclear to me if they were struck by mines, or they struck by drones, or they struck by missiles firing from shore. but no doubt about it, they have been struck. And we've heard the Iranian Revolutionary Guard say in days past that not one drop of oil would pass through the Straits of Hormuz. So now that this has occurred, even though the United States has offered to try to escort ships through the Straits, the Navy cannot take that mission on in full at the moment, it doesn't appear, number one. And number two is, it may not even matter, because with that threat hanging over the Straits, insurance companies are just going to drive up costs or refuse to provide insurance at all to these maritime companies, and the ships are just going to stop.
And what do you make of the reports that mines are being placed in the strait by the Iranians?
Very likely, Charlie, they've done this in past. It's obviously a way for them to escalate horizontally. It's also a way for them to attack us asymmetrically. And I said it doesn't take very many mines to do that in a waterway that's only about 20-plus miles wide. The Iranians in their Navy have maintained a stockpile of smaller vessels that can do this, sort of speedboat kind of things. And you can even do it off a fishing boat. So it's not exactly like you've got to destroy the entire Navy to, in fact, do it. On the other side of the equation, the United States Navy has really kind of degraded its mine clearing operations. We're down to about 4 ships. Unclear to me how many of them are in the region right now. Back during the Gulf War that I was involved in, we ended up depending on our allies, particularly the British, that had a pretty robust demining operation.
Jeff, we're hearing the intercept rate of missiles and drones attacking the UAE is getting worse all of a sudden. Do we know what's happening?
Well, I think what's happening is they're running out of interceptors, to say the least, and the Iranians are learning as they're going on. They're getting better at the employment. While the overall number of drones has dropped to some degree, overnight, what I was told was 35 drones were launched against the UAE, so fewer in number, but you're right, Amanda, that about 25% of them are, in fact, getting through. And so the real question may be, as we worry about, is the United States going to run out of critical munitions to prosecute this war? It may be less about when we run out and more about when our allies particularly run out and then become incredibly vulnerable to these kind of drone attacks. In fact, now it appears Ukraine may be involved in this particular operation, but the Ukrainians have very robust counter-drone interceptors that they can produce for about $5,000 a copy. And apparently they've been in discussion with President Zelensky, they, the Arabs, for the last couple of days, and there may be Ukrainian teams heading to the Middle East in the very near future.
Can we take a step back? Is there a clear goal in mind from the United States in this war? What's our objective here?
If there is one, Charlie, I haven't heard what it is. I've heard several. I've heard that our goal is to deprive them of their ballistic missile and drone capacity to threaten our allies and threaten our bases in the region. I've heard that our goal is to make sure that they never, ever, ever are able to produce a nuclear weapon. Don't know how you do that without, if you will, some kind of occupation that can verify they don't rebuild it, sometime in the future. And then there's this nagging question of regime change, and the president's come out and said that we're for unconditional surrender. Well, unconditional surrender takes you back to World War II and the battleship Missouri when the Japanese signed an unconditional surrender ending that particular war. We had announced that as a goal at the Casablanca Conference in 1943, but it took us 2.5 years and about 1 million casualties to get to that point.
When you say you're hearing several, these are coming from people inside the administration. I'm trying to wrap my head around how unusual it is for members of the administration to not be on the same page on something like this.
Exactly, and that to me suggests that the process is working. I worked in this process. I worked in the White House. I worked on the NSC staff. And I can tell you, man, in a crisis, and I was there during a crisis, the Kosovo crisis, one of the most important things that we all are on the same hymnal. We're all reading the same message because reporters like you guys and me would go to the State Department briefing, the Pentagon briefing, and the White House briefing and ask the same question 3 times to see if they got a different answer. And if they did, we're not coordinated. But in this particular case, it doesn't seem to be happening with the Trump administration, which suggests to me things I'd heard prior to this war, that there's been a decimation in the size of the National Security Council staff, which is the principal coordinator of policy across the agencies for the administration.
In the time we have left, Jeff, what are some of the scenarios if the U.S. simply declares this war to be over and it pulls out?
The question then is, what do the Iranians do? Because don't forget, your enemy gets a vote on your strategy and your plan. Do they immediately cease and desist, or do they continue to attack? Do they say, okay, we're going to stop, but we're still going to hold, a sword over the Straits of Hormuz and interrupt global trade? And can Mr. Trump, having taken us through this conflict, the cost, etc. Can he accept that the regime change he got at the other end was the son of the guy he took out to start with?
There are actually rumors that he was injured in a strike. Do you know anything about that?
No, I've seen those rumors unconfirmed. The interesting thing to me about this guy, of course, it's a clear act of defiance by picking him. Certainly going to be less likely to negotiate. Obviously very closely tied to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. That's where he kind of built himself to prominence. And it is reported in those attacks that killed his father, his mother, his wife, and his daughter were in fact killed, which would suggest to me at a personal level he's not terribly excited about negotiating with us.
CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland. We will be speaking with you again soon. Thank you, Jeff. 6:54. Let's get a check on traffic now with Chris Sullivan.
And we are definitely seeing a little bit more slowing on northbound I-5 from South Center up through the Duwamish Curve and towards the beginnings of Boeing Field, all because of a lot more company from people who would normally be on 509. So we're up over 50 minutes to go from Federal Way to Seattle. So a little bit slower than you might expect. 509, again, remember, northbound lanes are blocked at the First Avenue South Bridge or just before it. So 509 itself today is not bad. There is a little backup on Cloverdale getting through the detour route. Looking at the Valley Freeway, about 50 minutes now from end to end. There are brake lights getting into and through Pacific. Then a lot more through Auburn and a lot at the north end. And then Renton to Bellevue is getting closer to a half an hour. The Valley Freeway, they're getting there, is on eastbound 512, just some braking down the hill. Looks like we had a crash just past Cheney Stadium on 16 in the eastbound direction, but it has cleared and the backup is going away as well. Lake Bridge is still good. Coming down from the north end, kind of settled into an hour drive already from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
We're in for an interesting afternoon and evening. Rainy and windy, 51 the high. We're talking gusts as high as 50 miles an hour in Seattle. Lots of new snow in the mountains. Blizzard warning goes into effect this evening as well. Overnight lows around 41. We'll calm down a little bit tomorrow. Right now in Seattle, cloudy and 41.
The income tax on millionaires is about to become law in Washington state. Luke Ducey has the details, and we'll also get some analysis from former state attorney General Rob McKenna at 7:15.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Get 5 quarts of Valvoline full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard Select oil filter for just $36.99. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have at least 1 month worth of food in your pantry? If not, you should definitely go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now. My Patriot Supply is America's #1 supplier of long-term storable food. They've helped over 3 million Americans get prepared. And for a limited time, when you order their best-selling 4-week food supply, you'll get an additional week of food absolutely free. There's no catch, but act fast because this offer ends soon. Claim your free emergency food kit now at MyPatriotSupply.com. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Bring your visions to life with smart business buying tools and technology from Amazon Business. From fast, free shipping to in-depth buying insights and automated purchase approvals, we deliver everything you need to achieve your goals. Go to AmazonBusiness.com for support.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ENJOY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ENJOY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to
to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical,
there's no beating CM Heating.
Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel welcomes Seattle Golf Show March 13th through 15th at Puyallups Washington State Fair Event Center. Parking's free. Get front door bonus golf, see 100 exhibits, top courses, and shop big brands with Putts Golf. Tickets, seattlegolfshow.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez, developing news from the Middle East. Iran's ambassador to Cyprus just confirming the new Ayatollah, Mujtaba Khamenei, was injured in the strike that killed his father. Iran denied that earlier. Mujtaba was a no-show at his succession rally in Tehran this week. An update on war operations from U.S. CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper.
Every day, we're striking hard at Iranian ballistic missile and drones. To date, we have struck more than 5,500 targets inside Iran, including more than 60 ships, using a variety of precision weapon systems.
Those include Iranian mine-laying ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Germany and Austria have begun releasing parts of their oil reserves after a proposal by the International Energy Agency. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The IEA's 32-member countries will vote on the proposal today. Just one no vote could cause a delay. The previous record release of 182 million barrels was in 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine. The problem this time is the near total closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which 1/5 of the world's oil supply moves through. Oil prices have soared as much as 40% since the war began, though they've now fallen back below $100 a barrel.
New report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows inflation was steady last month. Gas prices down 5.6% from a year ago, but that was before the war began. Average prices are up 4 cents today to $3.58 a gallon. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger with more on that CPI.
Here's where there were some categories that saw increases. Food prices accelerated. Annually, food is up 3.1%. Shelter prices up by 3%. Medical care services up by 4% from a year ago.
White House entrances have been closed temporarily after officials say a van drove through a barricade nearby. Secret Service says the driver's been detained for questioning. Investigators are taking a closer look at the vehicle. Finally, some good news for travelers dealing with big delays at the airports. CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
The Trump administration announced that global entry has been restored. That is Customs and Border Protection's fast-track system that allows people expedited entry to the U.S. as they're coming back into the United States off an international flight.
Some potentially dangerous space junk may hit Earth soon. CBS's Mark Strassman.
Sometime today, the Van Allen probe is expected to plunge uncontrolled back to Earth, burning up as it re-enters our atmosphere, or at least most of it. NASA's warning some pieces could survive re-entry, landing somewhere along the satellite's ground track along the equator.
This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
The Millionaire's income tax about to become law. Luke Ducey will have details after we check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic.
We've settled into a relatively typical Wednesday out there, which means the brake lights are right where they should be. Where they're a little heavier than you might have expected is on northbound I-5 from South Center up to the beginnings of Boeing Field. That's just extra volume from people who would normally be on 509. A reminder that the First Avenue South Bridge remains closed in the northbound direction, and we got some bad news overnight. It's going to stay closed for a couple of more days. We'll have more details on that coming up in our newscast. But right now, there's some heavy braking through the Duwamish curb. You're going to need over 50 minutes to go from Federal Way to Seattle. Valley Freeway is over 50 as well. Pretty thick in Auburn, but by the time you're up to Emerald Downs, it eases off a bit. North End isn't as bad as it could be. About a half an hour to go from Renton to Bellevue, maybe a little bit under. Across the lake, though, we're still fine. Coming down from the North End, a little over an hour from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue with the brake lights there in the normal spots. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, it's 7:04. After more than 24 hours of nonstop debate, lawmakers have approved a new income tax on households earning more than $1 million a year.
The bill now travels back to the Senate before going to Governor Bob Ferguson, who says he will sign it.
And with the latest, here's KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. The vote was a little closer than some expected, 51-46, with 8 Democrats voting against the bill. Well, now, as you said, it goes back to the Senate to approve a few amendments to the bill. Then Governor Bob Ferguson, who was waiting in the wings of the House floor during the final vote, he says he will sign it into law, has until tomorrow to do that, and that's when the session ends. We are already seeing reaction from people directly impacted by the income tax. The founder of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, announced right after the vote he is now leaving Washington State to live in Miami, where they have no state income tax. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, you remember he moved to Florida after the state passed the capital gains tax. Well, now a group of 30 businesses in Snohomish County are coming forward, warning lawmakers that we might see more higher earners leave the state and move away. Jason Bickford from Bickford Ford told the Jake and Spike show yesterday.
I just see it driving resources away from the state. And I think if there is an imbalance with the tax structure and it is not taxing people at the top enough, other states and countries have done it a different way that doesn't drive resources away.
He also said lawmakers shouldn't force people to pay for social services. They will do that on their own.
I think when people have the freedom to choose how they support and help, or if there's different incentives to do that, people will step up and do it.
Democrats like Chapalo Street, though, say the state needs that $3.5 billion in revenue generated by the income tax every year to pay for growing needs and a backwards tax structure.
While our economy has changed, our tax code has not kept up. And if we want to provide real tax relief to fund essential services, we can't afford to keep kicking structural tax relief down the road.
That was Street on the House floor yesterday, one of the last to speak before that final vote. Charlie and Amanda, so those 60 amendments, 60 of them proposed by Republicans during that marathon floor debate were mostly stall tactics. For instance, one amendment called for delaying the tax until the NBA approves a team here in Washington. That failed, by the way. But kind of apropos with the news of Howard Schultz leaving the state. Too soon? Too soon?
Certainly noticeable. Luke, thank you. A bill that could let the state remove elective sheriffs is heading to the governor's desk after a final party line vote Monday in the Senate.
Critics say Senate Bill 5974 undermines local voters by giving an unelected state board power over elected officials. The bill passed the House last week with every Republican present voting no.
This effort to remove sheriffs looks a lot like The Empire Strikes Back, the 1980 Star Wars movie, an effort by an overwhelming political force to stamp out dissent.
Bill sponsor Senator John Lovick says it holds leaders to the same rules as the officers they supervise. The measure passed the Senate 30-19.
Washington gas prices continue to go up. Here's KIRO 7's Dee Dee Sun.
$4.72 a gallon is now the average price across Washington state, according to AAA. That is 32 cents higher than last week and 66 cents higher than a month ago.
National gas prices hover around $3.53 a gallon.
The Department of Transportation says the northbound SR 99 First Avenue South Bridge in Seattle will stay closed through Friday night for temporary emergency repairs. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Paula Tristan Aruda.
The work was supposed to wrap up tonight, but washout crews say cracks in the steel deck grates that were originally found last month, they're worse than they thought. This is phase 1 of the fix to stabilize the bridge.
Drivers should continue using those signed detours and expect pretty significant traffic delays.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Oh, it's hip, isn't it?
It's always hip.
So hip to be square.
Did I hear that Huey Lewis is going to be doing a performance soon? I mean, the guy had basically retired. He had some sort of ear issue or something
that rings
like
a bell.
that. Yeah, we have to get to the bottom of that because that would be a cool show to see.
Yeah.
That's Manda Factor. I'm Charlie Harger. Sully is over there. He would never be considered square.
Oh, I am. Apparently. No, I try not to be, but yeah. This is right in my wheelhouse. Good job, Nick.
Little dad rock for you there.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
Dad rock.
Are you a fan of Huey Lewis in the news?
I never was.
Oh, I am. I've seen him in concert.
Have you
a couple
really?
times. Yeah.
It is 7:09. A busy hour in front of us. We have producer Paul Holden running this show today, filling in for David. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Nothing on the Huey Lewis and the News website about upcoming shows.
Could swear I heard that. Okay. I have to get to the bottom of
we
this.
We will. Don't you worry.
Okay. And that just reminds me, I have a commentary coming up. It's a very serious commentary, but I totally missed something happening in the state legislature. I'm going to talk about it at 7:35.
All right. Also coming up this hour, former State Attorney General Rob McKenna will give his thoughts on what's next for the income tax on millionaires.
It's 7:10 now on Seattle's Morning News. A local murder suspect has been added to the FBI's 10 most wanted list.
Federal Way Police Chief Andy Wong says 31-year-old Samuel Ramirez Jr. shot and killed 2 women at the Stars Bar and Grill in May of 2023.
This senseless act of violence deeply impacted our community, and we will not rest until the killer, Samuel Ramirez, is in custody and justice is served.
Last year, a $25,000 reward was being offered for information that leads to his arrest and conviction. Now the reward being offered is up to $1 million. Authorities believe he may have fled to Mexico, but they say it's possible he has returned to the United States. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
King County is safer today than it was this time last year, according to crime stats released yesterday by the Sheriff's Office. Here's KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
The new stats show a 22% decrease in overall crime from 2024 to 2025. Homicides down 19%, aggravated assaults down 22%, robberies down almost 40%, and property crimes, including auto theft, down almost 19%. King County Sheriff Patricia Cole Tyndall.
While this is an improvement, we want to continue this trend because it is important for people to feel safe in their community, and it's our responsibility to make sure that that's happening.
Deputies also took 2,800 guns off the street countywide. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Cal Raleigh says there's no beef between him and Randy Arozarena. Questions have been swirling around Arozarena's fiery post-game remarks following Raleigh's refusal to shake his hand during the USA-Mexico matchup. Video shows Arozarena leaning in as Raleigh said something at the plate. Arozarena later unloaded pointed language in Spanish. We cannot play it here.
No.
It was... Wow. Cal spoke with our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports.
When we're back in Seattle, we're family. We're brothers, and I'll do anything for him. I'll do anything for our team to win, and to me, it shouldn't be that big a deal.
And this is Mariners manager Dan Wilson.
These guys are incredible athletes because of their competitiveness, and that's where they're at, and that's why they've gotten to the level that they've gotten. But I also know that our team loves each other deeply.
So no beef, Manda. No beef.
You know, I thought when I saw the video, I was like, if we were on opposing softball teams or something and I were the catcher and you came, I wouldn't shake your hand. I'd give you some grief.
Okay, but then afterwards, you probably wouldn't tell me to do what...
No, I wouldn't do that.
Nope, no. 7:12 now here on KIRO News Radio. Check on the weather now. We have heavy wind and rain on the way. We're hearing from meteorologists. It's going to be kind of a tough afternoon drive, so be prepared for that. Scott Sistek, the meteorologist, said, hey, you might even want to charge up your batteries because we could have winds over 50 miles an hour here in the lowlands. Up in the mountains, blizzard warning this afternoon. Heavy winds, heavy snow, feet are going to fall, and we have a potential of an atmospheric river coming up later this weekend. And I must have said something.
Feet are falling?
Oh, feet of snow are falling.
Thank you. Okay, I was hoping for
not literal feet.
Just making sure.
Okay, no, fair point.
That'd be gross.
By the way, we would have to cover that if actual feet fell.
Oh, that would be news.
That would definitely be news. Instead,
Luke Goosey on the scene.
It's simply snow and blizzard conditions. Right now in Seattle, we have cloudy skies. Calm before the storm is 39.
It's 7:13. Traffic time. We do that every 10 minutes. Take it away, Sully.
Well, imagine if that had been one of the plagues in Egypt. That'd have been something.
How's traffic, Sully?
I digress, apparently. Yeah, we're looking at an hour drive from Federal Way to Seattle. About 15 minutes slower than you might expect. Just kind of the meandering under the speed limit stuff, really, from Federal Way all the way up. One of the reasons there's a lot more people on I-5 northbound today who normally would be on northbound 509, but they don't want to be on 509 because it's closed at the First Avenue South Bridge. As we heard in the news, the damage to the bridge deck more than they expected, and so it's going to be closed through Friday at least. And so that's the reason why there's more action on I-5. Again, an hour is not too bad totally. Y'all up to Renton, overall about 52 minutes now. Renton to Bellevue still actually under 30 minutes, which is quite good. Lake bridges are fine. Coming down from the north end, you can plan on at least an hour drive from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue with 40 to 45 minutes away from Linwood, kind of the standard day for you. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio app. You can text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio app, listen to your favorite shows, get the latest news and updates right to your phone.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
7:15 now, and on Wednesdays we dial up former State Attorney General Rob McKenna talking all things legal. And this week, Rob, let's talk about the passage of the millionaire tax, the income tax on millionaires. What's your initial reaction now that it's about to become state law?
Well, it's not terribly surprising because the supporters of the tax have sizable majorities in, the House and the Senate. They had 8 Democrats vote against it, but still were able to pass it. So now I think the action shifts to the ballot box and a likely initiative to repeal the tax, and also shifts to the courts, where you're likely to see a constitutional challenge to this tax, which I think pretty clearly violates the state constitution's restrictions on income taxes.
Last time I talked with you about this, I said it's going to be a long, drawn-out battle, and you said legally probably not because it's cut and dry. Do you still believe that?
Well, I think in the sense that the issues are pretty well defined, and there's a lot of case law that looks at the plain language of the Constitution and says, well, if property is everything tangible and intangible subject to ownership, income is part of that. So you can have an income tax if it follows the rules for property taxes. The proponents of this tax keep focusing on a single decision from 1933, which was the first decision to reach that conclusion. It's a case called Culleton. But there have been a series of Supreme Court rulings since then that have reached the same conclusion. And of course, there's the fact that voters have rejected a proposed income tax 10 times in a row, including 6 proposed constitutional amendments that would exclude income from property, starting in 1934, the year after Culleton was handed down, which struck down another income tax. So I think the law is pretty straightforward. So now the proponents of this income tax are going to have to argue that your income is not your property. That's what they're going to argue. Sorry, you don't have property rights in your income. That's not within the definition of property. It's really astounding to me, actually. But they're trying to say, well, because the decision was from 1933, it's not valid. But in fact, there have been many decisions since then that have reached the same conclusion.
So, Rob, you know I love you, and I follow everything you're saying here, but I'm just looking at the tea leaves. The Supreme Court seems stacked in this direction. It's a different court even than most recently decided on this. I actually happen to think that they're going to approve it, and it's not even really going to be a question. Tell me I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong. I believe this court, believes in the Constitution. And remember, this is the same court that upheld the capital gains tax as an excise tax, not an income tax. But in doing that, went to great lengths to distinguish this excise tax from an income tax. So I think that, this court should be trusted to read the plain language of the Constitution and decide that income is your property. But you're right. You can't rule out that outcome altogether, which is why this will likely also come to the ballot, and we'll see if voters believe the legislature when they say, oh, yeah, this is just a tax on millionaires, when, of course, most people don't believe for a minute that it isn't going to be extended to reach most people in Washington state, just like every other income tax that's come along in our history has done, if you look at the federal income tax.
Not only that, but opponents also worry this is going to cause some people and businesses to leave Washington. Don't know if you've heard yet, but the founder of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, announced shortly after this passed that he's going to Florida. Were you surprised?
Yeah,
Do you expect that to happen a lot?
Oh, absolutely. It is. It already is happening. I know a lot of people who first, left in some cases because of the capital gains tax. Then there are the people who have been leaving because we have a 35% estate tax. Keep in mind, there are only two states in America west of the Mississippi that have estate taxes, Washington and Oregon. We already had the highest estate tax when it was 20%. They increased it to 35%. So you've got a lot of people leaving because the exemption there, is really quite low. So you don't have to have that much money to be hit by that huge tax. And now you have the income tax on top of that. And it isn't just people leaving the state to avoid, paying 10% of their income. It's also people who will never come to the state in the first instance. Jeff Bezos came here to start Amazon because we didn't have an income tax, and among other reasons, but that was a key factor. And other founders have come here, and under Governor Jay Inslee's administrations, they used to tout the fact that we didn't have an income tax, we didn't have a capital gains tax. And now this legislature has systematically dismantled Washington state's competitive advantages that have brought great companies here or inspired people to start their companies here, and all of that is going away now. We're going to turn into Oregon, which has much lower per capita income levels than Washington state because they don't have the economic engines that we do.
I'm curious, as a recovering politician, Rob, what you made of my commentary earlier this week, where I said basically for Washington voters, it's a binary choice. You're either supporting Democrats or you're supporting MAGA, and Washington voters will default to the Democratic side because of their disdain for the president.
I think that a majority of voters have been doing that. We've certainly seen that in the president's pretty poor showings in the polls. For example, in the 2024 election. So that is true. But what a lot of those voters don't understand is that the Democratic Party has been moving farther and farther to the left as the strong progressives have exercised more and more power. So just as the Republican Party has been, has shifted and has been taken over by populist MAGA Republicans, the Democratic Party has been taken over by strong progressives who are systematically attempting to weed out moderate Democrats and replace them with strong progressives who will enact the policies that they want. An example of that is what's happened with state spending. I mean, they're saying they want this income tax because they think the state system is regressive. It's based on a flawed study that manipulated the data about tax regressivity. We're actually in about the middle of the pack nationally when it comes to progressive versus regressive taxation. And secondly, they say they need the money. But when you look at the fact that the state budget has increased 116% in the last 12 or 13 years, and they're still saying also that they passed an historically high tax increase package last session at the start of this biennium of over $9 billion, and they're saying they still have a deficit. I mean, this is the essence of fiscal mismanagement, and it's because they can never have enough money to fund their pet causes and to reward their allies. And those are the people running this state now.
Manda, I couldn't help but notice that Rob was a little diplomatic when I was being a little critical of the court. Rob, are you by any chance going to be arguing this case?
It's too early to say, but I have a lot of confidence that an effort will be put together to bring this to the Supreme Court ultimately, and I think that it's entirely likely it'll be in front of the court by the end of this year and then decided next year. 2026 and decided 2027? Right. I think that's probably a realistic time frame. You never know for sure. Court can take as much time as it wants, but this tax will, I didn't look at the very last version of it, but I assume this tax is still scheduled to take effect in 2028.
Yes.
So that was the original proposal. So I think that they'll have time next year to make a ruling on it, and the people who may want to take this to the ballot will have time as well to organize that. All right, Justices, if you're listening right now, Rob was being nice, diplomatic. I was the one being mean. Just remember that when you're hearing this case, okay? Thank you, Supreme Court Justices. Thank you, Justice Harger. I appreciate it.
Rob, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. As always, as former State Attorney General Rob McKenna.
Time to check in with Sully for traffic. And where do we start?
Well, we're going to start on northbound I-5, which is unusually slow today. But the reason is pretty simple. There are a lot more people on I-5 from South Center up through the beginnings of Boeing Field and into downtown. They would normally be on northbound 509, but 509 is blocked at the First Avenue South Bridge and will be so for the next couple of days. And so people are on I-5, and so an hour drive is what we have. Federal Way to Seattle, which before the lane changes for Revive I-5 was about average, but for today it's about 10 or 12 minutes behind schedule. Valley Freeway about 50 minutes, so about average for you guys. Renton to Bellevue only running around 30 minutes. The drives out of the north end definitely 50 minutes out of Linwood and an hour and 10 all the way, so definitely seeing some heavy brake lights there. Lake bridges though are in good shape. This report brought to you by the Washington State Lottery. Play the $15 St. Patty's Day raffle ticket from Washington's Lottery with a $1 million grand prize. Only 250,000 tickets available. Get yours before they're gone.
It is going to be a very wet and windy day. Gusts up to 50 miles an hour, a possibility for the afternoon and evening hours. Rain, yes, up to a half an inch. 51 the high for today. Lots of snow in the mountains, 2 to 4 feet. Some blizzard conditions for later today. Tomorrow, just back to some calmer rain, 46. Rain on Friday, too. It's wet around here. It's 41 in Seattle right now.
Coming up, we have the day's top stories. And in the 7:35 commentary, permanent supportive housing for homeless addicts soon to be allowed in every neighborhood in Washington state. We'll talk about it at 7:35.
This is Seattle's Morning News.
This hour is brought to you by CM Heating.
The John Curley Show.
When people sit there and they see people with the American flag and they're utterly disgusted because they associate the flag and USA with Donald Trump, don't do that. You're doing yourself an amazing disservice.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You could dislike Donald Trump, but you can still love America. It's like discounting Photograph from Nickelback, which is actually a pretty good song. Think of the fact that you love this country, and what you love about it is it's inclusive. Good. Include others.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube.
This is Sully with a word for Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, guaranteed repairs. The dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, a full service history, all there at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed. Easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence.
Insulation rebates from PSC are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSC insulation rebates last year, more than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSC trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
This is a test of your emergency alert system.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation, we make protecting your home simple and affordable. With flexible financing and 20-plus years of trusted service, you can count on lasting quality from Guardian. Visit GuardianRoofing.com today.
There's nothing like the taste of the very first fruit you grew yourself. Well, March is the time to visit Sky Nursery for a wide variety of Northwest-grown strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and kiwi, persimmon, fig, plum trees, and more. Visit skynursery.com.
Great decisions start with knowing your options. Lake Washington windows and doors are built to perform. Their windows are 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards, cut noise up to 50%, and are designed with low-maintenance clean glass technology. While most window frames are hollow, theirs feature Comfort Core insulation for superior energy efficiency. Find your pot of gold with up to 20% in savings and 12-month financing with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. A name you can trust.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Aetna was there for me as I was going through a rough medical patch this year. I had peace of mind, which helped with my healing.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctors' offices when requested. We show up with the latest in online tools for easier access to healthcare. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe financial decisions should be made with clarity, not sales pressure. That's why we host weekly educational seminars and live webinars on retirement planning, tax strategies, and rental property decisions, designed to help you think more strategically about your future. Whether you prefer attending in person or joining from home, there's always something coming up. To see our upcoming schedule, visit MadronaFinancial.com. Madrona Financial and CPAs. Informed planning starts here. Madrona Financial Services is an SEC registered investment advisor.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 7:31. Well, fallout is growing after a 62-year-old gym teacher at Skykomish K-12 was arrested on suspicion of sexually assaulting a student for 2 years.
The district has now hired a PR firm that released a letter claiming administrators had no prior knowledge of the allegations. But the King County Sheriff's deputies say students and at least 2 staff members did raise concerns.
We'll get the update this morning live from KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, what the district now says in their new letter to families and what deputies are saying in court documents seem to directly contradict each other. They now say, the district that is, they first learned about the accusations against their teacher on Friday, the day he was arrested. And they say they are reviewing their policies and protocols to ensure every employee and student knows how concerns can be reported. In court documents, King County deputies say students and at least 2 staff members, including a counselor and a secretary, and they named those 2 staff members in their documents, all expressed concerns about the suspect and victim, and that the school's principal, according to those court documents, required another student, not an adult, to be present whenever the 2 were in the same room. Deputies say the victim transferred to the school 2 years ago because of a trauma experienced at a different school, and her relationship with the suspect began when she confided in the suspect about her experiences. Deputies also described multiple incidents of what they call in court documents, quote, rape of a child. The district's new letter also says the district has launched an independent third-party investigation. They apologized for the lack of information provided to parents right after that arrest on Friday, and they announced the school will be closed through Monday for the community to process everything that's happened. It took the victim's mother, by the way, to report this to investigators Charlie and Manda. Court documents say that she found images and messages on her daughter's phone, and then she notified law enforcement. The suspect could be formally charged today. We think that will happen. We do know that the suspect, and we're not naming him yet because he hasn't been charged, we do know that he is a soccer coach and has been throughout the region for quite some time. If you're a parent and you're listening and you have concerns, you should call law enforcement immediately.
Okay, keep us posted after that court hearing today as well. 7:33, the House passed a millionaire tax after a 64-51 vote. After a 24-hour debate, it will tax households earning over $1 million a year at 9.9%. Democrats say it boosts education and public safety funding. Republicans warn of a slippery slope.
They call it the millionaire's tax. It's absolutely not a millionaire's tax. So if you're a married couple and you're both doing pretty well, but neither of you is making $1 million, you may bump up against that threshold anyway.
Asked Republican Representative Jim Walsh.
Time for a check on traffic now. We do that every 10 minutes. And here's Chris Sullivan.
And we are definitely pushing towards our peaks there and kind of bursting at the seams a little. About an hour drive from Linwood to Seattle or Linwood to Bellevue with the brake lights right where they should be, but they're heavy today. For 405, you're really on them all the way down into Totem Lake. I-5 starting right at 175th and Shoreline. Northbound I-5, heavier than you might have expected. Hour drive today. That's about 10 minutes slower than we've been getting used to. A lot more action through the South Center area and into downtown because of people who would normally be on 509. Looking at the West Seattle Bridge in the eastbound direction, it's pretty heavy today as well, all the way over to I-5. Valley Freeway, about 50 minutes from end to end. 35 now from Renton to Bellevue. The lake bridges are still fine. Olympia to Tacoma is not too bad at all. This report brought to you by D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton has new homes and communities across Puget Sound and Central Washington. Visit drhorton.com, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Our forecast, lots of new snow in the mountains. A blizzard warning will go into effect this evening. For us in the lowlands, it's just rainy and windy. Gusts in Seattle possibly as high as 50 miles an hour. That's for the afternoon and evening hours. 51 the high for today. We'll get back to just plain old rain for tomorrow and Friday. Right now in Seattle, it is cloudy and 41.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Time for the 7:35 commentary, and I owe you an apology. I thought I was doing a pretty good job of keeping up with the state legislature this session, but I missed this one, and now it's about to become a law. People living outside or trapped in addiction deserve real help, structured support, treatment, a path toward sobriety, not just a place to wait while fentanyl or meth does its work. I believe people can get better. And that's why I'm troubled by House Bill 2266. Permanent supportive housing is subsidized housing with no time limits, no treatment requirements, and no recovery expectations. Services are voluntary. You can use drugs inside. You're only offered rehab if you ask about it first. Otherwise, the staff won't mention it. Plymouth Housing, one of the state's largest operators, measures success not by recovery, but by what they call quality of life. Their retention rate is 93%. Staying in the building is the win. Getting better, not the goal. Daniel Malone, the executive director of DESC in Seattle, once described his permanent supportive housing project this way. We call it a hospice for alcoholics, he said. We just want to keep them off the street and give them a home. People I know who've been inside have seen rampant drug use, assaults, human poop in the hallways, bed bugs. And the neighbors already know what comes next. Trespassing, car prowls, people trying front doors at night. A woman near a Seattle DESC facility was harassed on the street by a resident fresh out of jail. Her camera caught him at her door that same night. He walked back into the facility. That's a reality for people living next to these buildings. On one side, people in active addiction with no obligation to seek help. On the other, neighbors with no recourse, no voice, and now no city council able to fight for them because the state has taken that option away. HB 2266 requires permanent supportive housing to be allowed in any residential zone in Washington state. Your neighborhood, the street where your kids ride bikes, cities cannot zone it out. They cannot add a single operating condition stricter than a regular apartment building. 2 years ago, Kenmore rejected a Plymouth project over drug use and crime concerns. Olympia now responded with this legislation to stop cities from saying no. HB 2266 finishes the job. In Bellevue, Plymouth Crossing recorded 5 police calls in the second half of 2023. 2024, that number, 148. Plymouth calls those medical emergencies. I call what happens when you house people in active addiction with no expectation of recovery. I talked with recovery advocate Ginny Burton yesterday. She got better because someone expected more of her, because there were guardrails, because she went to prison. She told me this bill transplants downtown Seattle into every neighborhood in Washington state. We have spent billions on an approach that does not ask people to get better. Now we are embedding it into every neighborhood by law. At some point, this stops being about funding, starts being about whether we actually believe people can recover. I do. This bill does not. State has decided. People in active addiction with no expectation of getting better will be placed in neighborhoods across Washington. Your city has no say. You have no say. And the governor is about to sign that into law. And that's the 7:35 commentary for Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. You can text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line at 888-973-5476. And you can always leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
It's 7:40. Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the heavier than normal volume coming up the I-5 corridor. We'll break it down next.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Every business starts with an idea. With smart business buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at amazonbusiness.com.
Hey everyone, Hartley Wilcox here. And I'm Charlie Wilcox from Wilcox Family Farms. Our family's been raising hens and gathering fresh eggs right here for over 100 years.
That's right. Our hens roam free on green pastures, soaking up the sunshine and living their best chicken lives.
We don't do shortcuts. No cages, no chemicals, just honest-to-goodness eggs laid fresh every day.
And when you buy Wilcox eggs, you're not just getting breakfast. You're supporting local farmers like us. Clean food and a family that's been doing it right for generations.
So next time you're at the grocery store,
skip the out-of-state eggs and grab the ones with our name on them.
Wilcox Family Farms. Fresh, local, trusted. Find fresh Wilcox eggs at Metropolitan Markets, PCC, or Safeway. And for a healthy snack on the go, grab some ready-to-eat hard-boiled eggs in a convenient to-go 2-pack. Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh since 1909.
Our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn, understands the pressure that comes from owing money to the IRS. Don't let that pressure build. Call None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. Google NUNN None better tax resolution.
In the market for a new Subaru? Do what I did and make it easy on yourself. Ursula Reutien here. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership with the largest selection in our state. More than 700 Subarus are ready to roll. And right now, get a 2025 Subaru Crosstrek with 2.9% financing for 36 months on approved credit. Shop now during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard or shop online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 3/31/26.
Gray whales are back in the Salish Sea. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. Don't miss Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
It's 7:43. Chris Sullivan is watching traffic for us.
And we have settled into what is a relatively normal day today. Brake lights right where they should be. The one spot that's behind schedule by about 10 minutes is the northbound I-5 drive. It's kind of just annoyingly under the speed limit. No super slowing, but just a little more braking here and there all the way, especially through the Duwamish curve as you make your way up out of South Center, trying to make your way towards the beginnings of Boeing Field. The reason for that is pretty simple. All those cars that are there would normally be on northbound 509, but northbound 509 is closed at the First Avenue South Bridge in the northbound direction, and of course no one wants any part of that, and so they're on I-5, and we're running about an hour and 5 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle, 10 or 12 minutes slower than normal. The Valley Freeway, also a little elevated, but nothing you can't handle. 50 minutes on the trip there from Puyallup to Renton, and Renton to Bellevue is getting closer to 40 as we definitely have picked up some action around I-90. Speaking of I-90, the Lake Bridges are both in pretty good shape. Westbound, you're going to do okay. Olympia to Tacoma doesn't have any issues. Coming down from the north end, yeah, definitely the struggle is real today. It's an hour away from Linwood on both 5 and 405. And of course,
it's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
Hit the $15 mark in the express toll lane a while ago. I just haven't had time to play our fun little sound to remind everybody that it was never supposed to get there, but it does. Every day. So plan on the delays there in the normal places, about an hour and 10 all the way from Everett. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Last year, one of the hottest on record. Get efficient heating and cooling with a Home Comfort Alliance heat pump, all for the price of an AC. Don't wait. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Forecast looks like it is going to be a rough commute this afternoon because we expect heavy wind and rain in the Seattle area. And don't even think about getting over the mountain passes this afternoon. We have blizzard conditions expected. A few feet of snow could fall with strong winds across the passes. Right now in Seattle, it is cloudy and 39. Coming up, we're going to speak with CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland with more about the war in Iran.
It's a new year, which means a new opportunity to grow your business. WaFd Bank Business Checking can help you hit the ground running. Our accounts are designed to help business owners like you manage cash flow, pay vendors, and keep operations running smoothly every day. Get access to digital tools like bill pay, mobile deposit, signer and non-signer debit cards, and the option to upgrade your account as your business grows. WaFd business bankers get to know you, so when you need help, we're there for you. WaFd Bank, built for business. Visit wafdbank.com. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
Great decisions start with knowing your options. Lake Washington windows and doors are built to perform. Their windows are 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards, cut noise up to 50%, and are designed with low-maintenance clean glass technology. While most window frames are hollow, theirs feature Comfort Core insulation for superior energy efficiency. Find your pot of gold with up to 20% in savings and 12-month financing with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. A name you can trust.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and $250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you Guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com. At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Seattle's Morning News. We spoke earlier with CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland about the war in Iran. We first asked him about what he knows about ships being attacked in the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, it's up to 3 ships now, Amanda, have been struck. Now, it's unclear to me if they were struck by mines, or they struck by drones, or they struck by missiles firing from shore, but no doubt about it, they have been struck. And we've heard the Iranian Revolutionary Guard say in days past that not one drop of oil would pass through the Straits of Hormuz. So now that this has occurred, even though the United States has offered to try to escort ships through the Straits, the Navy cannot take that mission on in full at the moment, it doesn't appear, number one. And number two is it may not even matter because with that threat hanging over the Straits, insurance companies are just going to drive up costs or refuse to provide insurance at all to these maritime companies, and the ships are just going to stop.
And what do you make of the reports that mines are being placed in the strait by the Iranians?
Very likely, Charlie. They've done this in past. It's obviously a way for them to escalate horizontally. It's also a way for them to attack us asymmetrically. And I said it doesn't take very many mines to do that in a waterway that's only about 20-plus miles wide. The Iranians in their Navy have maintained a stockpile of smaller vessels that can do this, sort of speedboat kind of things. And you can even do it off a fishing boat. So it's not exactly like you've got to destroy the entire Navy to, in fact, do it. On the other side of the equation, the United States Navy has really kind of degraded its mine clearing operations. We're down to about 4 ships. It's unclear to me how many of them are in the region right now. Back during the Gulf War that I was involved in, we ended up depending on our allies, particularly the British, that had a pretty robust demining operation.
Jeff, we're hearing the intercept rate of missiles and drones attacking the UAE is getting worse all of a sudden. Do we know what's happening?
Well, I think what's happening is they're running out of interceptors, to say the least, and the Iranians are learning as they're going on. They're getting better at the employment. While the overall number of drones has dropped to some degree, overnight, what I was told was 35 drones were launched against the UAE, so fewer in number, but you're right, Amanda, that about 25% of them are, in fact, getting through. And so the real question may be, as we worry about, is the United States going to run out of critical munitions to prosecute this war? It may be less about when we run out and more about when our allies particularly run out and then become incredibly vulnerable to these kind of drone attacks. In fact, now it appears Ukraine may be involved in this particular operation, but the Ukrainians have very robust counter-drone interceptors that they can produce for about $5,000 a copy. And apparently they've been in discussion with President Zelensky, they, the Arabs, for the last couple of days, and there may be Ukrainian teams heading to the Middle East in the very near future.
Can we take a step back? Is there a clear goal in mind from the United States in this war? What's our objective here?
If there is one, Charlie, I haven't heard what it is. I've heard several. I've heard that our goal is to deprive them of their ballistic missile and drone capacity to threaten our allies and threaten our bases in the region. I've heard that our goal is to make sure that they never, ever, ever are able to produce a nuclear weapon. Don't know how you do that without, if you will, some kind of occupation that can verify they don't rebuild it, sometime in future. And then there's this nagging question of regime change, and the president's come out and said that we're for unconditional surrender. Well, unconditional surrender takes you back to World War II and the battleship Missouri when the Japanese signed an unconditional surrender ending that particular war. We had announced that as a goal at the Casablanca Conference in 1943, but it took us 2.5 years and about 1 million casualties to get to that point.
When you say you're hearing several, these are coming from people inside the administration. I'm trying to wrap my head around how unusual it is for members of the administration to not be on the same page on something like this.
Exactly, and that to me suggests that the process is working. I worked in this process. I worked in the White House. I worked on the NSC staff. And I can tell you, man, in a crisis, and I was there during a crisis, the Kosovo crisis, one of the most important things that we all are on the same hymnal. We're all reading the same message, because reporters like you guys and me would go to the State Department briefing, the Pentagon briefing, and the White House briefing and ask the same question 3 times to see if they got a different answer. And if they did, we're not coordinated. But in this particular case, it doesn't seem to be happening with the Trump administration, which suggests to me things I'd heard prior to this war, that there's been a decimation in the size of the National Security Council staff, which is the principal coordinator of policy across the agencies for the administration.
In the time we have left, Jeff, what are some of the scenarios if the U.S. simply declares this war to be over and it pulls out?
The question then is, what do the Iranians do? Because don't forget, your enemy gets a vote on your strategy and your plan. Do they immediately cease and desist, or do they continue to attack? Do they say, okay, we're going to stop, but we're still going to hold, a sword over the Straits of Hormuz and interrupt global trade? And can Mr. Trump, having taken us through this conflict, the cost, et cetera, can he accept that the regime change he got at the other end was the son of the guy he took out to start with?
There are actually rumors that he was injured in a strike. Do you know anything about that?
I've seen those rumors unconfirmed. The interesting thing to me about this guy, of course, it's a clear act of defiance by picking him. Certainly going to be less likely to negotiate. Obviously very closely tied to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. That's where he kind of built himself to prominence. And it is reported in those attacks that killed his father, his mother, his wife, and his daughter were in fact killed, which would suggest to me at a personal level he's not terribly excited about negotiating with us.
CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland. We will be speaking with you again soon. Thank you, Jeff. 7:54 now. Let's check in with Sully.
And we are definitely struggling as we approach our second peak of the morning at 8 a.m. Looking at heavy brake lights away from Linwood on 405. It's an hour drive from Linwood down into Bellevue, hour and 20 all the way from Everett. For I-5, same deal, but the brake lights don't begin until you're right around 145th. It's still about an hour from Linwood to get you down into Seattle. Looking at very heavy braking on northbound I-5 now through the Duwamish Curve, unusually so, but that's just extra volume from people who would normally be on 509. Give yourself over an hour to go from Federal Way to Seattle. Looking at the West Seattle Bridge, I'm looking for something on the west side of it before you get over the high-rise right by Del Ridge that's causing an issue there. I've got reports of a crash, but I can't see it on my cams, so not exactly a great day for you guys. Renton to Bellevue is heavy, 40 minutes for you, 50 from Puyallup to Renton. The lake bridges are okay. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial, 97.3 HD2.
Stormy day down here. Afternoon should be heavy winds and rain in the Seattle area. In the mountains, blizzard conditions. Right now is 39 in Seattle. More of the day's top stories on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
KIRO Newsradio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
2 competing budget proposals.
Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
With Aetna, I always get a quick answer, and I don't have to search on the internet. They go above and beyond to help me with whatever I need.
Those words from a real Aetna Medicare Advantage member speak to why U.S. News & World Report named us a Best Medicare Advantage company. Because we show up on calls with members and doctor's offices when requested. We show up with access to convenient care options. We show up for you. Because that's how healthier happens together. Member feedback has been edited for length and clarity.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile.
Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
I had pain. I had numbness in my feet. That pain and that numbness just got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
This is Greg describing life with neuropathy.
I went to 5 podiatrists, tried different treatments, tried different orthotics, tried different shoes, had cortisone shots in the tops and the bottoms of my feet. Saw a neurologist. All my medical doctors said, can't help you. Live with the pain. You're not going to be able to sleep. This is your life. And then I just gave up until I found Sound Pain Solutions.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, drug and pain-free procedures that help neuropathy sufferers like Greg find relief.
I feel better. I mean, just feeling better is huge.
If you experience numbness, shooting or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
I'm here with Wes Jones of sellwithwes.com. And Wes, you were just telling me you think 2026 is going to be a rebound year for the housing market.
That's right. I think we're heading into the best real estate market of the past 4 years. And here's why. If you take a step back and look at the big picture, experts are anticipating a 15% increase in sales volume next year. Interest rates are at near 3-year lows and trending down, and home prices have held near all-time highs. There is a lot of pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their time to jump into the market since 2022, and they need a place to buy.
So, hey, 2026 might be your year. If you're considering selling your home, if you're thinking about moving, but there was something that was just holding you back, now might be a great time. So do this. Go to sellwithwes.com. You can see your home's real value there with Wes's home value calculator. Then schedule an appointment by giving him a call. Sellwithwes.com. Sellwithwes.com. It really just is a better way to sell your home.
We've got a surefire way for you to feel lucky this St. Patty's Day. Get a saltwater hot spring spa from Olympic Hot Tub. Take advantage of big savings and get 5 years to pay for it interest-free. But hurry, this deal ends St. Patrick's Day. OlympicHotTub.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
Steve Kathan. There's been new action designed to ease energy concerns sparked by the Iran war. The International Energy Agency has agreed to release the largest volume of emergency oil reserves in its history, that is, some 400 million barrels. CBS's Holly Williams says it comes as the U.S. and Iran trade fire in and around the Strait of Hormuz, and Tehran targets other countries.
2 Iranian drones hit near Dubai's airport. That airport is one of the world's busiest, at least in normal times when planes can take off. Kuwait says it shot down 8 Iranian drones, and Saudi Arabia says it intercepted 7 drones headed for an oil field. Some of America's closest allies here in the Middle East were opposed to this war. They warned that it would further destabilize this region, and those same countries are now being hit by Iranian drones and ballistic missiles, and their economies are also being affected.
As gas prices inch higher and higher in this country, there are calls for the government to tap into U.S. oil reserves. CBS's Katie Weiss.
Economists tell CBS News that these reserves are meant for emergency situations only, that they're meant for temporary disruptions, and if it's a prolonged conflict, then you can't rely on it.
The government says consumer prices rose 2.4% last month compared to 1 year ago. At least 2 deaths in Indiana are blamed on a blast of severe weather that hit several states in the nation's midsection. CBS's Lana Zach is checking tornado damage south of Chicago in Kankakee, Illinois.
I've been speaking with residents who are now starting to come out. They're checking in on one another. There's one house here that nobody has heard from yet, and they're trying to see if that person was someplace else. There's another neighbor who found a dog. They're taking care of it until they can ascertain who it belongs to.
The Department of Homeland Security has reinstated the Global Entry Program. program as we hear from CBS's Michael Wallace.
DHS had suspended the expedited customs clearance and TSA pre-check for pre-approved travelers on February 22nd, citing the partial government shutdown. During the suspension, some travelers had to wait for more than an hour. Lines could still be long at security checkpoints as more TSA agents unwilling to work without pay call out sick or quit.
Well, CBS's Jim Krasula tells us a Georgia teenager charged with fatally running over a teacher in a prank gone wrong has broken his silence.
In a written statement, the family of 18-year-old Jaden Wallace expressed his, quote, deepest sorrow as he vowed to honor the memory of 40-year-old Georgia high school math teacher Jason Hughes. The statement also said the teacher meant the world to the teenager.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount.
Okay.
Plus, it's 8:03. We check in with Chris Sullivan at the traffic desk.
And we have plus cars over the normal on, that's not good English.
Not good at all.
Not? Okay. Heavy on northbound I-5 through the Duwamish curve today. I think we're going to see this the next couple of mornings with the continuing closure of northbound 509 across the First Avenue South Bridge. All the cars that would normally be there are on I-5, and so that's why you're seeing the extra volume from South Center. They're basically coming from Burien on 518 and going up that direction, and that's why we're running over an hour from Federal Way to Seattle. Valley Freeway also seeing the brake lights, but they're in the same spot they are every day. About 52 minutes to go from end to end. Rented to Bellevue, just under 40 because we do have brake lights there over the top of I-90 into downtown Bellevue. The drive coming down from the north end, a typical day for you guys with an hour away from Linwood to go down 405 or I-5 to get you to Bellevue or to Seattle. Olympia to Tacoma, not too bad. Some brake lights here and there, but manageable. Across the lake, definitely some westbound slowing on I-90, but about 25 minutes to get you from Bellevue to Seattle is not bad. This report brought to you by the Seattle RV Show. Don't miss the Seattle RV Show, March 12th through the 15th at Lumen Field Events Center. Shop over 400 new models for every budget and lifestyle. Get tickets, SeattleRVShow.com.
It's 8:04 on the Wednesday, March 11th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger. After more than 24 hours of nonstop debate, lawmakers have approved a new income tax on households earning more than $1 million a year. Bill now travels back to the Senate before going to Governor Bob Ferguson, who says he will sign it. KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey here with the latest.
Charlie, the vote was closer than some expected, 51-46, with 8 Democrats voting against the bill.
There are 51 yeas, 46 nays, 1 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority, engrossed substitute Senate Bill 6346, as amended by the House, is declared passed.
The applause and that final gavel dropping after a marathon, 24 hours of debate on the House floor. Now, as you said, this bill goes back to the Senate to approve a few amendments to the bill. Then Governor Ferguson, who was waiting in the wings of the House floor for that final vote, he will sign it into law. And then after that, Charlie, the law will most likely be challenged in court. If and when it does, former Attorney General Rob McKenna spoke with Seattle's Morning News about that just a short time ago.
So now the proponents of this income tax are going to have to argue that your income is not your property. That's what they're going to argue. Sorry, you don't have property rights in your income. That's not within the definition of property.
So McKenna says there's a lot of case law that says you can have an income tax if it follows the rules of property taxes, meaning that it has to be uniform across the whole spectrum for everyone. Instead, supporters of the bill argue, that idea, though, stems from just one case way back ago in 1930s. Therefore, it's old and it's outdated and it doesn't apply. But here's McKenna's response to that.
It's really astounding to me, actually. But they're trying to say, well, because the decision was from 1933, it's not valid. But in fact, there have been many decisions since then that have reached the same conclusion.
And we're already hearing reaction from people directly impacted from that income tax, a 9.9% tax on everything you make $1 million and up. The founder of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, announcing right after the vote that he is now leaving Washington State to live in Miami, where they have no state income tax. You remember Amazon founder Jeff Bezos moved to Florida after the state passed the capital gains tax, and a group of 30 businesses in Snohomish County, led by Jason Bickford at Bickford Ford, are now coming forward, warning lawmakers that more higher earners might move away as well. Democrats, Charlie, say that they need that $3.5 billion in revenue generated by this income tax annually to pay for the growing needs across the state, especially when it comes to social services and a backwards tax structure. So here we go. Next step, again, Senate, then the governor's desk, and then many predict it will be challenged in court.
Okay, thanks for that update, Luke. Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank says he will resist a new Washington law that could allow the state to decertify elected sheriffs. Swank told the John Curley Show yesterday he won't comply if the law conflicts with his First Amendment rights or his oath to serve local residents.
I'm standing up for the rights of people. And if I can't say what's on my mind, exercise my First Amendment rights, then nobody will be able to. So this is all about things, speech that I say that they don't like.
Swank was sworn in January of last year.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Wednesday, March 11th. Welcome to Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger. Manda had to duck out a little early this morning. Sully is still here watching traffic on the threes.
Keeping track of my dirty laundry.
We make our living off the morning news.
Yeah, we do.
Little Don Henley action for you there.
Right on the nose.
Yeah, that's Nick Kreisha who's picking the music for us and running the board this morning. And Paul Holden filling in for David Burbank this morning. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, everybody.
Great to have you here. You had a lot of energy today. For somebody who usually wakes up a little later in the day, this can be kind of a rough shift, but you're here with bells on.
Hey, that's, when you're sharing a space with such enthusiastic, great folks in the morning, how can you not start your day with a smile here on Seattle's Morning News?
Who are they?
It's you. It's man. It's Charlie. Come on.
Seriously.
Nick's giving us all sorts of jams. I'm dancing all over here.
Where are they?
Well, coming up this hour of the show, Jerry Cornfield from the Washington State Standard joins us to break down everything happening in Olympia as we approach tomorrow's deadline for the state legislature to wrap up. And G. Scott will swing by with his thoughts on the manager of Team USA's big blunder at the World Baseball Classic. It's 8:09 now. Washout says the northbound SR 99 First Avenue South Bridge in Seattle will stay closed through Friday night, at least, for temporary emergency repairs. KIRO 7's Paola Trisha and Aruda has more.
The work was supposed to wrap up tonight, but washout crews say cracks in the steel deck grates that were originally found last month, they're worse than they thought. This is phase one of the fix to stabilize the bridge.
So you're going to have to continue using signed detours and, expect traffic delays. Powerful winter system poised to bring heavy snow to western Washington's mountain passes this week. Forecasters say drivers should prepare for whiteout conditions. We're talking blizzards. Consider postponing travel over the passes. Here's KIRO 7's Ranji Sinha.
It looks like only maybe less than an inch on the ground, or about an inch, but the snow continues to fall, and it will continue to pile up as we go forward.
Yeah, the big event is later this afternoon, so if you're trying to get over the passes, do it now or you're not going to get over. Avalanche danger also elevated in the backcountry. Seattle voters could decide on a $410 million library levy this August.
Mayor Katie Wilson says the 7-year plan maintains hours at all 27 branches. It also funds things like security, earthquake safety upgrades, new books, and enhanced technology.
I believe each of these new investments are critical to ensure a strong library system for years to come.
For homeowners, the levy would cost 19 cents per $1,000 of their home's assessed value. Mayor Wilson's office says that would amount to about $163 a year for a home worth $872,000, the median value in Seattle. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Iran's sports minister says the country will not take part in the 2026 FIFA World Cup match hosted in Seattle. Seattle Times reports the decision is a response to recent military actions and uncertainty surrounding safety conditions for players and fans. Woodland Park Zoo says 2 western lowland gorilla moms-to-be are expecting babies just 5 days apart in May. Here's KIRO 7's Dee Dee Sun.
Gorilla moms Olympia and Jamani are expecting to welcome their babies 5 days apart in May. This will be the second baby for both moms, but it'll be the first time for Nadea, who is the father to both kids.
Nadea? You know, he's got 2 different babies coming on the way. He's got to get ready. You know, Olympia is due on May 19th. Jamani is due on May 24th. So still time to buy those gorilla
gifts,
baby gifts. Maybe time to hold a gorilla baby shower.
Possible.
Okay. It's 8:12. Let's get a check on the weather. It's looking to be quite stormy this afternoon. This afternoon commute could be rough with winds gusts over 50 miles an hour in the Seattle area and heavy rain expected. And that is all going to be snow in the mountains. We're talking blizzard conditions. Just plain old rain, a lot calmer tomorrow. But I was speaking with meteorologist Scott Sistek a little earlier. He says, yeah, you might want to think about charging the batteries before you leave out the door this morning. It could be a rough afternoon. Right now in Seattle, it's 39 at 8:13. And we check in with Chris Sullivan at the traffic desk.
And just check the passes. Traction tires are required on all Snoqualmie, Stevens, and White at this particular moment. Anything over 10,000 pounds needs to chain up. So we're watching those passes very closely today as the weather moves in. Northbound I-5 through the Duwamish Curve. That's basically north of Tukwila, working your way up towards the MLK exit. Seeing a lot of heavy slowing there today. That's just extra volume from people who would normally be on 509 because of the closure of the northbound direction of the First Avenue South Bridge. So about an hour and 10-minute trip to go from Federal Way to Seattle. It's about 10 or 12 minutes slower than you might expect. Looking at northbound 167, very heavy in Pacific, trying to work your way up past Emerald Downs. 50 minutes on the drive up into Renton to Bellevue. The S-curves are very active. You're on the brakes past 44th. We might have a crash right there around the Maple Valley Highway that just popped up to add to the misery. Overall, about 35 minutes to get you up into Bellevue. Lake bridges are still fine. Coming down from the north end, we have the hour-plus drives away from Linwood as we've settled into kind of a typical day for you guys. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show. Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Thanks for being here with us this Wednesday morning. Is 8:14. Joining us now from the Washington State Standard is Jerry Cornfield, who has been following closely this legislative session. Jerry, it's great to have you here with us right now. The big story, of course, income tax approved by the House of Representatives, but it was a marathon debate session. What are some of your takeaways from that?
That the income tax means a lot to a lot of people in, basically both parties. I mean, we had 98 folks engaged in active conversation for nearly 25 hours, nonstop. And that's pretty impressive.
Can you remember anything similar?
Well, it wasn't, no. I mean, nothing that this length of time. There have been all-night sessions. Sometimes they were special sessions, and there have been late nights, long debates on bills, 8, 10, 12 hours. But I think you'd have to turn back the clock 30 or 40 years or more when the budget was being discussed to see, to get something close to this. But 24 hours on one bill, it did surprise me that a lot of amendments, that not too many amendments were tossed out for being out of scope or out of order. And it was impressive that both sides were able to come up with amendments that discussed pretty much every part of the bill, and they were talking through and so I think the majority party, for whatever, they said, this is your chance and this is our chance, so let's open the door and let's see how long we go. Let's just do it.
We had some Democrats not vote for the bill. Were you surprised to see, I think it was 8 or 9 voted no?
I think 8 might have been more than I had on my, they like to say, bingo card. But no, I anticipated, they had 59 in the chamber, 59 Democrats. They needed 50. So, with that number, they could give up 9, and 8 folks did. But looking at the names of the folks who did say no, none of them surprised me. They're either their district is reflective of a no income tax approach, or they're just moderate. And from day one, they were open about, I'm going to vote against this because they just philosophically oppose the state having an income tax.
I'm assuming, I haven't seen the names, but this is the moderate bloc, Mari Levitt, and people like that who tend to take the middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, Representative Levitt was, look at my list real quick, because I actually think she voted for it this time around. But she did get an amendment on there, and that may be why. She wanted to make sure the libraries were not paying a retail sales tax. They took that amendment. No, we're looking at folks like Representative Alicia Rule in Blaine, and Amy Wallen in Kirkland. Melanie Morgan in Tacoma might have surprised a few folks. But Addison Richards from Gig Harbor, he had publicly written an op-ed explaining why he was opposed to it. So, some of these folks were out there in front, and some weren't. They were probably surprises to others. And some of them are in districts that this fall, they're on the ballot, and the districts are 51 or 52% Democrat, so they can't afford to lose any votes from their own party.
How confident are Democrats that this is going to make it through the court system? We had Rob McKenna on a little earlier, and he said, of course, he's biased, but he said this is not constitutional. It doesn't pass muster.
Yeah, and I heard you say you thought the Supreme Court was leaning too left and was going to go ahead and uphold it. You were going to disagree. I don't, it's very difficult. He's right about it being a 93-year-old case, and the current justices, they know the Constitution's living, breathing document. They do have a bent. They've had many decisions where they've shown favor to, or deference, I should say, to government and what the legislature's done. But in recent months, they've also found a couple of bills and laws that they've said, hey, they're ambiguous, so we have to rule against the legislature. If you want to do something, you need to clear up the law. I don't think this is one of those ambiguous issues, but I think that shows that there are justices who have been elected or appointed who are a little more independent-minded than might be presumed. Now, we also have to see where they are. When the case comes, there's a number of justices on the ballot in November. I don't expect candidates to talk directly about their views on an income tax, but it will be part of the conversation in the elections this fall.
Okay, so this is a 60-day session. We do that every other year. Next year is the 90-day session, a little bit longer. But as you reflect back, as we're about to wrap this up, Jerry, what are some of your big takeaways from what you'll remember about this session?
I mean, this is kind of an exhausting session in that they really took on some meaty issues. The income tax is sort of at the top, but what we focus on is, that bill actually in it deals with how they want to spend billions of dollars in the future. And also it also fixes or repeals some of the bills that they just passed last year. So it has so much in it and covered so much turf that they were going to cover anyway. So that was big. And then you have the whole block of bills that have been, some seen as necessary and some seen as just a response to what's happening from the federal government, immigration policy, healthcare policy. So they're responding to the federal government and the current administration. So those are going to be the takeaways. This was a session. We didn't write or talk a lot about, this bill or that bill, this law, that law will affect the 2026 elections. But in the coming months, we will. The candidates are going to be debating about these decisions. And there's been so much attention on a handful. I think you may hear about license plate readers. You may hear about traffic safety, transportation, preservation, maintenance, all those little things that are still yet to be decided. I think that's it. They just went so big on some of these. A handful of policy issues dominated the discussion.
What happens in the off season, I guess, is the best way to describe it. These people have jobs in real life, right?
Some of them do. Yeah. I mean, some will go back to their, work and education, healthcare, labor. businesses. You've heard the Senate Minority Leader, John Braun, has talked about, his business that he's involved in when he goes, and you'll hear, but not everyone, not as many are working. A few work in government, so they'll go back to their state government jobs or their local government jobs. And there's a couple members, one Republican, one Democrat, who serve on the Snohomish County Council. So they just continue in their elected positions, but now much more at the local level and try and deal with what the legislature did, or in the case of local government, didn't do. I mean, I think there's stuff where stories came out, but they are walking away this session without having answered the issue of how those individuals who are accused of crimes, who can't afford a lawyer, how they're going to pay for it, and how the cities and counties are going to provide it, because they just don't have the money. So this is a big issue. Education is going to suffer some cuts today when the operating budget proposal comes out, or the final budget proposal comes out, and they're going to be dealing with that over the next couple of years. So there's impact still to be dealt with.
Jerry, did I hear this correctly? I mean, you're the boss over at the Washington State Standard. Did you make Jake Goldstein Street stay up all night to watch that session? You said, "Good luck, kid."
No, actually, I was up till 2:15, and he was just, sending me notes, wondering if I needed intravenous fluids. But I think he might have been up ahead of me the next morning just to catch up, trying to remind me that I didn't miss anything, and we still had 12 more hours to go. So, and it turned out, I honestly think at some point, our Republicans and Democrats agreed we're going to get to 24 hours, because when it was like 23 and a half hours, the speaker was at the dais, and I think she was like, okay, seeing no more speakers. And it was like, wait a minute, they have 30 minutes to get to the day. They need
we need that record.
They made it.
All right, Jerry, a week from now, where are you going to be? What kind of beach is it?
I'd like to say, but the governor will be signing bills. He gets up to 20 days after. So the session ends, then they have the bill signing season. And I think it'll be mid-April when a lot of reporters, I can't say a lot, myself, I hope take a day or two by then. However, if there's a ballot measure put together related to the income tax, and then the election season starts in May, it's a big one. Lawmakers won't be back, and there'll be races, and they have initiatives on the ballot. So it's always a busier time than people think in the interim, both for us, the Capitol reporters, and the folks in the legislature.
All right, hang on. I think Brian Haywood is on the line for you, Jerry. We appreciate your time this morning. As we have throughout the entire session, if we don't catch you next week, thank you for everything you've done, and we'll be checking in with you quite a lot over the coming year. Jerry Cornfield from the Washington State Standard. 824, Sully, you got to take a look at traffic.
And again, today we're dealing with heavier traffic through the South Center area and Tukwila, up past the Duwamish Curve to the Boeing Access Road. That's a lot of extra volume that should be on 509, and we're looking at about an hour and 10-minute trip from Federal Way to Seattle, maybe a little bit under that. The West Seattle Bridge in the eastbound direction is pretty heavy, but the issue really is a crash on the ramp from Delridge getting you up to the West Seattle Bridge. That's really backed us up on Delridge and causing some issues on that ramp. We're also seeing heavy brake lights today on Admiral Way, so not exactly a good day again on the West Seattle Bridge. Renton to Bellevue is about 40 minutes. I'm hunting for a crash around 30th. Behind that, we have about a 50-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. Some off and on braking through downtown Tacoma on the I-5 corridor, but nothing you can't handle. Coming down from the north end, hour and 20-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Lake bridges are okay. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
KIRO Newsradio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
Two competing budget proposals.
Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. Hey, Bob, you had a hip issue just like me. You went to see Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports for Regenerative Medicine. What did he tell you?
You got a torn labrum, you got a frayed ligament, you've got arthritis developing. He said, this isn't going to fix everything, but it will go a long way. I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff beyond jiu-jitsu.
So, just like me, Dr. Wagner does stem cell on your hip. How you feeling now?
I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now.
So whether it's a shoulder, a hip, a wrist, knee, or elbow, before you choose surgery, see our friend, Dr. Wagner first. He'll tell you if stem cell is right for you. drmarkwagnermd.com. Make an appointment at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice. With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
High five! Up top!
Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Heck yeah!
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Yes!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
Hey, it's Jake Skorheim. March is the start of spring, as we all know, and my outdoor to-do list is already growing. Fortunately, Valentine Roofing has my back and yours when it comes to checking off those honey-do list jobs. And with Valentine's huge March promotion, they're not only going to take care of you this year, they have you covered for next year, too. This month only, you can get a free year of roof maintenance when you purchase a new roof. Then you can enjoy seasonal checkups and professional care to keep your new roof looking its best. Plus, they have flexible financing with payments as low as $159 a month. And the Valentine experience, as we all know, seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. So it's no surprise that Valentine Roofing was voted 2025 Gold Best Roofing Company in the Seattle Times Best in the Pacific Northwest Awards. To take advantage of Valentine's free year of roof maintenance when you purchase a new roof, call 206 Roofing. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Gray whales are back in the Salish Sea. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. Don't miss Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. One thing the IRS has been working on is to modernize their infrastructure, the software that they use. And, you know, we look at that and say that's great for government efficiency, but in this case, that kind of efficiency means they're spotting people way faster.
They're able to do that, and they have to do that because they have fewer personnel. But look at your own work environment. How technology is replacing people, and you can get as much work done or more with the proper technology. And that's what the IRS's goal is is that we need to use technology, especially AI, to make determinations on, okay, who should we go after? Who are we missing?
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue,
Seattle's Morning News.
Good morning. It's 8:31. We are expecting charges to be officially filed any time now against a 62-year-old gym teacher at Skykomish K-12 who was arrested on suspicion of sexually assaulting a student for 2 years. Also, the district has now hired a PR firm that released a letter claiming administrators had no prior knowledge of the allegations. But King County Sheriff's deputies say students and at least 2 staff members did raise concerns. And here with the latest is KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, and Charlie, you're hearing this for the first time here on KIRO News Radio, that we have learned that charging documents are just one signature away now from being filed. So we will have them in our hands in a little bit, not too long from now. So stay tuned on KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com for the very latest in this case. What the district now says in their new letter to families and what deputies are saying in court documents seem to directly contradict each other. The district now says they first learned about the accusations against their teacher on Friday, the day he was arrested. The district says they have now launched an independent third-party investigation, and they say they are reviewing their policies and protocols to ensure every employee and student knows how concerns can be reported. In court documents, on the other hand, King County Sheriff's deputies say students and at least 2 staff members, including a counselor and a secretary, and they named those 2 staff members in the documents, all expressed concerns about the suspect and victim, and that the school's principal, according to those court documents, required another student, not an adult, to be present whenever the 2 were in the same room. A deputy say the victim transferred to the school, Skykomish K-12, because of a trauma at a different school, and her relationship with the suspect began when she confided in the suspect about her experiences. Deputies also described in court documents multiple incidents of what they call rape of a child. Now, in the district's new letter, the district also apologized for a lack of information provided to parents right after that arrest, and they announced the school will be closed through Monday for the community to process all of this. This is a very small school, about 9 staff members, 50-some students as well. It took the victim's mother to report this to investigators, Charlie. Court documents say that she found images and messages on her daughter's phone, and she made the calls. Now, the suspect, again, it looks like will be formally charged today. It just needs one signature on those charging documents, and then we'll have those, and we'll get those out on certainly KIRO News Radio and absolutely on MyNorthwest.com.
Appreciate the update. Stay on top of that, Luke. Founder of Starbucks says he's leaving Washington State. Howard Schultz announced yesterday he and his wife are moving to Miami, where there is no income tax. Timing hard to ignore. It came just hours after state Democrats passed an income tax on people earning more than $1 million a year. Now, Schultz says the move is about family and sunshine, not taxes. According to Newsweek, he's worth about $3.5 billion. He bought Starbucks back in 1987 and served as CEO 3 separate times. It's time to check traffic. Here's Chris Sullivan.
Who is nothing but family and sunshine. That's what I am.
I love family. I love sunshine.
That's what I am. Matter of fact, you're going to be getting some, but we won't talk about that. Looking at
some sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. Some northbound I-5 slowing a lot more through the Duwamish curve today than you might have expected, but that's all people who would normally be on 509. We're running 20 minutes behind schedule now from Federal Way to Seattle. That drive at about an hour and 5 minutes. That's, again, 20 minutes behind schedule. Northbound 405, the Renton S curves are active. Didn't find a crash as I was searching between 30th and 44th. But all in all, we've got about a 40-minute trip for you. Still about 50 from Puyallup to Renton. Most of the braking there is at the far north end part of that drive. Eastbound 16 continues to struggle a little bit past Cheney Stadium. Olympia to Tacoma is not bad. Hour drives minimum away from Linwood today as you make your way from Linwood to Seattle or Bellevue. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And we have a lot of rain and snow on the way for the mountains. We expect to have a high today in the upper 50s. Coming up, we're going to have the detailed forecast with Scott Sisek. This is Seattle's Morning News.
Reliable, refreshing, and ready every morning. Seattle's Morning News.
Wednesday morning, I thought we would check in with meteorologist Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather blog, emeraldcityweather.com. And Scott, we have some big-time snow heading for the mountains. What are we looking for this afternoon?
Well, especially up in the mountains, it's looking really challenging because when the storm is coming in, we're going to have a lot of heavy rain down here in the lowlands. All that rain's going to be falling as snow in the mountains for most of the day. And so combine all that snow with the windstorm that's coming in here, we'll have some gusts, 45, 50 miles an hour, even in the mountains. So you're going to have heavy snow plus a lot of wind, and that's going to make like blizzard-like conditions. So there are blizzard warnings in effect for the Cascades, both for Stevens Pass and Snoqualmie Pass and all the passes up there and the Olympics. So we're looking at very difficult and dangerous conditions. It's going to be whiteout conditions up there, very, very heavy snow, very strong winds. So you don't want to be in the mountains later today or this evening or tonight. There may be a little bit of a brief period this afternoon where the snow level briefly goes up over Snoqualmie Pass and changes it to rain. It only may be for a few hours, so I don't think you want to try and chance it and be like, ooh, now I have it's raining up there. But yeah, it just snowed a bunch. It's going to cool off right after the storm passes and this front goes through this evening, and the snow levels will go right back down below Snoqualmie Pass. So by late this evening through tonight and into tomorrow, it's all heavy snow and wind and blizzard-like conditions again. So while you may see a very brief window this afternoon or evening where Snoqualmie might be raining and windy, don't think that the snowstorm is over. It's coming back. So just keep that in mind. Blizzard conditions in the mountains, very wet and windy down here in the lowlands. You're going to have a lot of snow and a lot of wind today. So really crazy conditions up there.
Up there and wind down here, what are we expecting?
Right. So when that low center comes through, that's kind of more like a traditional autumn, winter time windstorm here. There'll be the storm is going to go into Vancouver Island around, let's say between 2 and 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's going to sweep across inland British Columbia. As the front comes through here, that's going to pull up the wind through the Puget Sound area in western Washington. So we're thinking about mid to late afternoon, the winds are going to start picking up. And then as we get into the evening, that's going to be the really peak time for the winds. So your evening commute today, Seattle area, Tacoma, Puget Sound, pretty windy. So we're looking at gusts 45, maybe 50 miles an hour, maybe a rogue gust to 55 along the coast and up north and maybe near the water. So peak wind times about 5 to 8, let's call it this afternoon and this evening. And then once that front comes through, we actually get a secondary little wind surge that'll come down the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Those of you in the North Sound and live along the strait have probably seen this before. So another surge of west wind between around 8 and 11 p.m. tonight, and that would be up along Port Angeles, Sequim, into Whidbey Island, the San Juans, and down into probably Snohomish and parts of Skagit County as well. Could see it.
And what does that mean for property damage, stuff like that? Is this enough to be destructive?
It's sort of borderline to where we get into really hairy situations. I mean, 45 to 50 miles an hour, we go through that multiple times a winter. But the only difference now is, it's been a while since we've had a pretty decent wind. It's March. I don't think the trees are really leafy yet from what I've seen. I know the cherry blossoms are kind of blooming, but don't have too many leaves to catch the wind, but it still might be more than usual. And then for the west wind folks, wherever that comes in up in the North Sound, the west wind tends to be a little more crazy because the trees aren't used to a west wind. Usually we get south winds here and we get a windstorm. So today will be the south wind at first. Front goes through, we switch over to the west wind in the North Sound, and that's where I think kind of those Whidbey Island, Camino Island, San Juans, maybe even Skagit, western Snohomish County, even maybe down to North King County and northeastern Kitsap County might get a little gust of wind of 50 miles an hour out of the west or the northwest, and that could be a little more problematic than the south winds were a few hours earlier.
So probably not a bad idea to charge your batteries and just prepare for a gnarly afternoon commute.
Yep. Yes, prepare for an early afternoon commute. It's going to be wet. It'll be windy, even if it's not 50 miles an hour. It's 30, 35 miles an hour with a heavy rain. That's no fun to drive in. There'll probably be puddles on the road and everything, and windshield wipers on full blast. So it'll be a long afternoon commute, a long evening commute. Just be ready for that. Maybe push your dinner plans back a little bit, or if you've got somebody coming home, expect them to maybe be a little later today.
So tough day going over the mountains. Is going to be a tough drive going home. And it's just going to be an active rest of the week for weather. Scott Sistek from the Emerald City Weather blog. Scott, thanks for your time this morning.
Sure thing.
Okay, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're running 20 minutes behind schedule. Northbound I-5 getting up out of South Center. We'll tell you why next.
Now, word for the team at Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000, there's one thing you can do now that could make your savings go twice as far in retirement. It's tax planning. That's right. Tax planning could significantly reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k withdrawals, Social Security benefits, and other investment income. Find out how much money you could save with a free retirement tax savings analysis from the good people at Boss Retirement Solutions. To schedule your free analysis, call 206-210-1350. Tax planning for retirement could reduce your taxes not just for 1 year, but for the rest of your life. And the savings could be six figures. Let's find out how much money you could save. Call 206-210-1350. That's 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Save $10 on a pair of Rain-X Latitude wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Our professional parts people will even install them for free.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel welcomes Seattle Golf Show March 13th through 15th at Puyallups Washington State Fair Event Center. Parking's free. Get front door bonus golf, see 100 exhibits, top courses, and shop big brands with Putts Golf. Tickets, seattlegolfshow.com.
8:43 now. Let's check traffic with Chris Sullivan.
We are working about a 20-minute delay on northbound I-5 going from Federal Way to Seattle. We're at an hour and 5 minutes today. The reason we're really slow getting out of the South Center area, working your way around the Duwamish curve and up towards the beginnings of Boeing Field. And that's really just added to because of the volume that would normally be on 509. People who would normally take 509 from Bury and up across the First Avenue South Bridge are now on I-5 because the First Avenue South Bridge is closed in the northbound direction. And we found out last night it's going to be that way at least until Friday night. So an extension of the work there. But that's what we've been dealing with the last couple of days. That's what we're dealing with today. So plan on the braking there. Well, it gets a little better the further north you go. Boy, today would be a really good day to have a second lane on northbound Dale Ridge instead of a bus-only lane because it is bumper to bumper all the way trying to get to the West Seattle Bridge. We've been working with a crash on that on-ramp to the eastbound bridge for the better part of the last hour. It is not moving. The Valley Freeway starting to get better. Still have about 50 minutes with most of the brake lights there from 180th on in. Rented to Bellevue, still 40 minutes. Kind of an average commute for you guys. Heavy braking up past 44th before freeing up. Across the lake, we have about 25-minute trips from Bellevue to Seattle. Coming down from the north end, kind of the same old story. Groundhog Day again, coming down from Linwood, hour drives from Linwood to Seattle or Linwood to Bellevue. This report brought to you by Wilcox Family Farms. Cage-free eggs are good. Range-free are better. Make that free range are better, not range-free. That doesn't make any sense. Mobile pasteurized eggs, though, are the best. Choose the best for your family. Locally fresh. Wilcox Family Farms eggs.
Stormy one on tap. We are hearing suggestions that you might want to charge up your batteries before heading out the door because later this afternoon, winds up to 50 miles an hour in Seattle and western Washington. Rain as well. So a storm on the way, and in the mountains, we're talking blizzard conditions. Calm down tomorrow. We'll have highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. Right now in Seattle, it's 39 at 8:45. Coming up, G. Scott stops by here on Seattle's Morning News.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community.
Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community. Not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
A lot of businesses are looking ahead for guidance and the right partners in the new year, and the right bank can make a difference, right, Brad?
That's right, Dave. And WaFd Bank can help with business checking, express loans, lines of credit, business credit cards, and so much more. WaFd Bank is also an SBA preferred lender, so you can grow with confidence.
What about when you need help with something? In this digital age, does WaFd have an actual person available?
Absolutely. Our friendly and knowledgeable local business bankers are ready and waiting to help you with whatever your business might need. From day one, our bankers get to know you and your business to build a strong foundation for future success. This especially helps when it's time to apply for loans and to spot gaps in your business operations, so we can recommend the service that would be most helpful.
And to learn more, visit wafedbank.com or visit your local branch. Discover why they were awarded Best Bank multiple years in a row by numerous financial publications. WaFd Bank, built for business. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Loan subject to credit approval. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply.
March is an exciting time to be in the garden, especially if you'd love to be growing your own delicious fruit or berries. Hi, I'm Gabby, veggie, herb, and strawberry buyer here at Sky Nursery. This month only, we have a wide variety of Northwest-grown bare root strawberry bundles, a great way to save a lot of money on planting your own berry patch. We also have tons of blueberries, raspberries, and kiwi, as well as persimmon, fig, plum trees, and more. Come on into Sky, because there's nothing like the taste of your very first fruit that you grew yourself. Visit skynursery.com.
We've got a surefire way for you to feel lucky this St. Patty's Day. Get a saltwater hot spring spa from Olympic Hot Tub. Take advantage of big savings and get 5 years to pay for it interest-free. But hurry, this deal ends St. Patrick's Day. OlympicHotTub.com.
Great decisions start with knowing your options. Lake Washington windows and doors are built to perform. Their windows are 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards, cut noise up to 50%, and are designed with low-maintenance clean glass technology. While most window frames are hollow, theirs feature Comfort Core insulation for superior energy efficiency. Find your pot of gold with up to 20% in savings and 12-month financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. A name you can trust.
Buying a car is a big decision, but Carter Subaru makes it so easy. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership with more than 700 vehicles in stock, the largest selection in our state. And right now, you can get the 2026 Subaru Forester starting at 0.9% financing for 36 months. Shop now during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline or Ballard or anytime at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 3/31/26.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Well, it's a big baseball weekend in the Harger family. We're going down to Phoenix for a youth baseball tournament, G. Scott.
Okay.
This past weekend, we had the first tournament of the year.
Yeah.
Coach Al was all over everything because in these baseball tournaments, you have to really be aware of the rules. And we had tied one game the first day.
Yeah.
And so we were up late into the night trying to figure out all the different minutia of how we could possibly win this tournament.
Yeah.
And if Coach Al hadn't stayed on top of the rules for the tournament, we would have not have won that silver bracket on Sunday.
Right.
So fortunately, Coach Al was on top of that. That's what a good coach does, right?
Yeah. It does, except for the ones that are in charge of coaching Team USA in the WBC.
Go on.
Right? It seems to be that he didn't quite understand what was going on, and he didn't know. Oh, you got some sound?
You got 9 bodies ready to roll today, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to get some guys off their feet, no question about it. I'd like to get Goldie a start, and he has been awesome, just a leader of men behind the scenes with Aaron Judge. I'd like to get him in there. I'd like to get Gunnar in there again. Ton of respect for Italy. It's weird. We want to win. We want to win this game, even though our tickets punched to the quarterfinals, because Mexico plays Italy actually tomorrow. So the way the schedule lines up, this is an important game for us. Nolan McLean will start. He's on the bump, and he's good to go.
So That's not exactly how it works.
The ticket is punched.
That's what he said.
Into the quarterfinal. You know, this is a microcosm of literally everything that we talk about. I don't care if you do politics, yes or no. You're like, oh, I don't do politics. When you have awful leadership that don't know what's going on, this is what we keep having. What kind of hire would this be for this coach? I'm not going to get into that. But I just want to just say this, man. I've learned, I was telling Paul this, I have learned so much about the inner workings of baseball in America. A lot. Yeah. And I love learning. And here's what I learned. I know it was Nick and Paul and I on Monday, and we talked about, hey, what would you rather have? A WBC championship, United States winning, or a World Series for your team? And so I was like, duh, World Series. Right. That was me, right? I have found out that we care about the World Series. But players that play here and play on their country's team, it's WBC for them. They care a lot about winning for their country. And so it's interesting that this is starting to play out. And so when this happens, when the manager doesn't even know about what is happening with pool play, what it takes for his team to advance, this is embarrassing, and it proves the point that we care more about World Series here than WBC.
And just to be clear, just to let everybody know what happened, by assuming we had the ticket punched, he didn't play the players, and he didn't realize that run differential comes into a way. So when we gave up 5 runs in the first couple innings yesterday, he's like, whatever. Yeah, now we may miss the next round. Yeah. We may be done today.
Did it get to 6-0 or 8-0? Did it get to 8-0?
Yeah.
8-0. 8-0 and lose 8-6. I mean, like, you got one job. And like you said, you're funny about that, but literally, little league coaches around the country know better about what's at stake for their team.
Because every tournament has its own special rules.
Yes.
And if you're not looking at the rules, you are in for a surprise. It's not like just an MLB game where it's very clear. Tournaments have different rules.
So what's the moral of the story? I'm asking you.
Read the dang rules.
I saw it too.
I saw coming out. Yeah, I saw that coming out of your mouth too.
Charlie, you okay?
Well, I saw Nick. He had his finger over the dump button.
Close, man.
Bro. This story kind of got to you.
It got to me. I just read the rules.
Don't count your eggs before they hatch.
Yeah, especially your free-range eggs.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
In the most superstitious sport, too, baseball. You're saying that before you're taking the field? That's like rule number 1 in baseball.
Yeah, and I could rest a few guys and put in my number 6 starting pitcher.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
read the rules.
No. The crazy thing is, if this were a little league coach, and you guys know how the parents are, and they get together, they would be, I paid my money for this? Oh, little Tommy is not playing with this team next year. We're going to go somewhere else.
I saw that on Twitter, actually. Somebody like Aaron Judge's parents and Cal Raleigh's parents are out in the parking lot right now, forming a new team right now.
I just know the parents got a lot to talk about between Cal Raleigh, Randy Rosarena. These parents.
Manda, hang on. I'm on the phone with Manda right now.
Okay. Before I go, can you ask Sully, hey, what's in the red cups? When parents are out there for the games, Sully, what's in the red cups?
I don't know, because I was always in the dugout.
Manda says you're excused, G. G and Ursula coming up 9 to noon today. Sully, you are at the traffic desk.
Yes, I am, and we're looking at a 20-minute delay on northbound I-5 trying to get from South Center into downtown. It's running, about an hour drive now from Federal Way to Seattle. A lot more people on I-5 who would normally be on 509 today. Northbound Delridge, not where you want to be. We've got a crash on the ramp to the West Seattle Bridge, and it's backed up a mile and barely moving. The Puyallup to Renton Drive, we've got about a 48-minute trip for you. Rented to Bellevue's a normal 45, and coming down from the north end, hour drives from Linwood. This report brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has earned local trust with honest pricing, guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
Stormy this afternoon. Wind and rain. Could be kind of a rough afternoon commute. Coming up on the G and Ursula Show, Dr. Jason Johnson joins the show at 10 a.m. You won't want to miss that on KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
See country star Aaron Lewis and the State Liners at Muckleshoot Casino Resort, March 24th at 8 p.m. And now an added show on March 25th. He's a multi-platinum artist whose raw lyrics and powerhouse vocals have captivated fans for decades. Now he and his band, the State Liners, are coming to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Get your tickets now to see Aaron Lewis at muckleshootcasino.com.
Welcome to guided meditation. Close your eyes. You're at the beach. The seagulls are calling. You take out your iPhone 16e you got from Cricket and use Apple Intelligence to clean up that selfie you just took. It's a good one. You send it to your friends instantly thanks to reliable nationwide 5G. They're totally jealous. Get iPhone 16e for $49.99 when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Requires new line on the Supreme Unlimited plan. First service charge and tax due at sale. $25 activation fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. See store for details.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in. Deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Your new home is now ready. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new homes that are ready today. With new construction communities throughout the Puget Sound and Central Washington areas and more coming, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. At D.R. Horton, we're still building with more construction, more communities, and more homes available every day. Find your new home, now ready at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder. Whether you've done some preparation already or you're just beginning to plan for your retirement, it's never too late to make sure you have everything covered. Elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayach joins me. You have an opportunity coming soon that will help answer some important questions, don't you?
We do. And every month we take 3 or 4 opportunities to go to the communities and educate people about what proper retirement planning is. The notion of retirement planning around having a hodgepodge plan, working with a financial planner, a lawyer, a CPA, a doctor, those pieces by themselves are not going to give you the results you want in retirement.
And you and the LifePoint Law team want to teach us about the Safe Harbor Trust?
They do. The single biggest financial threat in retirement is an uncovered medical illness. A Safe Harbor Trust, it should be a must in most of these estates, but it's not.
Be part of the next seminar in Tacoma on March 10th, Bellevue on the 12th, Federal Way on the 14th, and Everett March 17th. Learn more and secure your space at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
John Curley here with Closets by Design. Take advantage of up to 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months financing and free installation. Go to closetbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to schedule your free in-home design consultation today.
Our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn understands the pressure that comes from owing money to the IRS. Don't let that